Hi guys, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. We are live at the Last Chance Open.
We are, last game of the day.
Yeah, this is Nikos. You might know Nikos.
Hello.
From the Honest Wargamer. I'm Mikey. I'm not from the Honest Wargamer.
No?
I'm just hanging out.
Where are you from then?
I'm from Hellstone Wargaming. Hello. It's the same initials, so I got confused. So I turned up at the wrong event.
Yeah.
So here we go. So we are live at the last. We are live at the Last Chance Open in Southport, which is the basically the biggest ITC event in the UK before LVO or the Las Vegas Open.
Yeah, almost 100 players here.
Almost 100 players.
A few shy.
Yeah. So we've seen two fantastic games this morning already. We've just seen Necrons versus Tau.
We have.
Tank and Jane.
We have.
We also saw Admech and Guard versus Orcs.
Yeah.
So it's been super exciting.
Yeah. So we've got two new armies.
We've got two brand new armies. So we've got James McKenzie, who's using a mixture of Genestealer Cults, mostly Genestealer Cults.
Mostly.
And then other Genestealers that are actually High Fleet Kraken from Tyranids.
Yep.
And then we've got Colin McCarthy, who's using a nice mix of Dark Eldar.
Lovely.
More Dark Eldar.
Yeah.
And Eldar. So he's using Prophets of Flesh. He's also using Cabal of the Blackheart Airwing and a Latok Airwing.
So there's 6 planes in this guy's
There's
list.
6 planes and 21 Grotesques.
21.
Don't know if you know, but Grotesques are actually really good.
Are they pretty tough?
They are pretty tough.
So why are they so tough?
So Grotesques, they are basically like a super cheat unit, 34 points a model that you can take in units of 9.
Wow, okay.
They're strength 5, toughness 5, with a 5+ invuln, unless you take them as Prophets of the Flesh, which basically adds one to their invuln. So they've got 4+ invuln and 4 wounds.
Do they have an armor save as well?
They don't have an armor save, I don't believe.
Okay.
Or if they do, it is actually terrible. It is terrible at 6+.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so they're pretty good.
They're relying on the 4+ most of the time.
Basically, they've just got a 4+ all day, every day, right? So, as I said, the toughness 5, if you keep a homunculus next to him, he kind of like keeps injecting him with like cool stuff.
Weird potions and acid and stuff.
They're just getting ready for a party on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So they become toughness 6.
Toughness 6?
Yes. So if he has Yuri and Rakarth, which I don't think he does. He does, they get +1 strength as well.
Oh really?
So strength 6, toughness 6. Yeah, with 4 or 5 attacks. They've got like either a heavy hitting weapon, which is good at like killing like elite stuff, or if it's against hordes, he basically does mortal wounds if he rolls a 6 to wound, as well as normal damage.
So the buffs on the characters, that is 6-inch range to the unit, so it's not has to be wholly within. Yeah. So you can have your characters that are behind, and you can go units strung out. Yeah.
But obviously James is using Genestealer Cults.
Yeah.
They don't have a Codex, Nikos.
Well, he's done well so far. He doesn't need one, does he?
He's doing great. He actually won Heat 3 with a very similar list to this, which is just in December, just before Chapter approved. So it should be quite interesting. He's got like loads of Kraken Tyranids, and then he's got Supreme Command of like Magus and stuff, so do all the psychic powers, like mind control, so you can stop Overwatch and stuff like that.
He does have a few tricks up his sleeve, because he does have a small Kraken detachment. Yeah. Obviously, he's got a codex for some of his army, so he's got some tricks he can use from that book. Yeah,
exactly. So it should be a very interesting match. 6 planes versus Alien Boys. So Alien Boys. That's the factual term for it.
But will he win if, I know it's a hard task to remove 21 Grotesques, particularly having a 4+ vulnerable save and toughness 6.
And they also have the Power from Pain table. So obviously from turn 1 they ignore damage on a 6. Turn 2 they reroll advance and charge. Turn 3 they hit on 2s.
And they got a 6+ damage save after that as well.
So that is, so they have a 4+ armor. So basically Power from Pain, they call it. So there you go. This is the table. So it's frontline assault deployment. It was Colm who chose sides for this game. So I believe he's placing. I'm not sure. We've not seen actually any deployment yet. We've just seen some dice in the layout. So we've got the deployments which are laid out across here with the dice. And the mission is cut to the heart. So your players place 3 objectives. So we have
one goes in the centre.
Yeah.
And they place 1 each in their own deployment.
Exactly. So there's 1 here, 1 here, and 1 there. So as I said, there's no units down, so I don't know which side's which, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Yeah. So do they have secondaries already?
They do have secondaries. So I've got the information from the table.
Fantastic.
So James, he's gone for recon. So that's have a unit in each table quarter.
Yeah. So if we broke the table into a terrible line like this, have a unit in each one, gets a point.
Yeah.
Sorted.
And then he's also gone for behind enemy lines.
Sure. So get in the deployment zone.
Makes sense because he's got an aggressive run at your army, so he's going to be going.
I've heard these Genestealers are super fast boys.
They are super fast because they're Kraken, right? So that means that you roll an extra dice.
You roll like 3 dice, pick the highest when you're assaulting. Sorry, advancing, not assaulting.
And then he's also got Big Game Hunter. So I presume he's going after the planes.
He is going to go after the planes. Oh look, there you go. So the objectives actually hadn't been placed yet, so I do apologise. So it looks like Colm with the Drakari is deploying in this section, and then James is deploying in this section here. So it should be interesting. So then Colm has got some secondaries as well.
So yeah, he's got secondary. He's also gone for recon.
He has also gone for recon.
He's also gone for big game hunter.
Of course. And he's also gone for behind enemy lines.
Well, so H hunt, I presume that's big game hunter. And then he's the only way they're different. He's gone for behind enemy lines. Oh no, they've both gone for exactly the same.
So now it looks like we've got different there, and it's different on there. But that Lashall 4000, thank you for stalking us. Thank you for the follow, dude.
Oh, Headhunter, sorry.
Headhunter.
Headhunter is Headhunter.
She's kill characters.
Kill characters, that makes sense now.
Bosh. It looks like James has 10 command points to play with, because he has battalions.
Loads of points.
And a Supreme Command. And then Colm has 12. So he must have spent some to buy some relics and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. So we'll just quickly run through their list, shall we?
Okay.
So as I said, Colm is running Drakari with Eldar.
Yep.
He has a Prophets of Flesh battalion. So as I said, this one, if the Grotesque or Talos in this detachment, or any of the characters, add one to their invuln. So it becomes a 4-up rather than a 5-up. So you have the Homunculus, which basically, while within 6, +1 toughness to any of those units. Yuri and Rakov, +1 strength and toughness, which is super strong. They'll be keeping them close by. And then he has a unit of 5 racks, 5 racks, and then 9 racks. So these also get the buffs from the Homunculus and Urian, and they also have a 4+ invuln. So an Eldar.
Wow. So they're mini grotesques.
Mini grotesque. Yeah.
Okay.
So the one in the big unit, there is a
grotesques.
Venom Blade, which is at basically 2 points, and you kind of take it just because you've got 2 points. You don't really take it otherwise. But basically, toughness 4 troops with a 4+ invuln for 45 points for 5.
Nice.
Super
Disgustingly
strong.
cheap.
Yeah. And then we have 3 units of 7 grotesques, both with a flesh gauntlet and a monstrous cleaver.
Yeah.
So I said, a flesh gauntlet, if I remember correctly, the flesh gauntlet basically is strength user, 1 damage, no AP. We've rolled a 6 to wound unless you're attacking vehicles. Does a mortal wound on top. Super good for clearing holds, right? Well, then he has the monstrous cleaver, which is -2, but he gets an extra attack when he fights with it, so 4 or 5 attacks, which is super good. So then he's got a Cabal of the Black Heart with 3 laser wings, all with twin splinter rifles and 2 DC cannons, or disintegrate cannons. So lots of strength 5, -3, 2 damage shots. And also he's got Cabal of the Black Heart, which everyone loves.
So he can tell everyone to get vect.
He can get vect if he wants to. And then, just to be cheeky, he has 3 Alatok Crimson Hunters.
Nice.
So Crimson Hunter Exarch.
Are they good at killing tanks, or are they infantry, more killing infantry?
So they are really good at killing tanks or anything that flies. So anything that they are Exarchs, they reroll ones to hit, and then if they shoot anything that flies, they reroll wounds.
Okay, so they're not going to be super effective in this game then?
Maybe not.
There's only a couple of chimeras in James's list.
No, this is true. But they're going to be super good because of the way the Eldar flies fly around, because they can turn twice. Super good at grabbing recon or behind enemy lines.
Okay.
So basically, he can if he gets a flyer in this deployment zone, he can just fly along here and then turn this way, and then fly along here and turn that way. He literally just stays in that deployment zone all game. James can't blocking spaces, getting in the way of units, and also scoring points behind enemy lines.
So I think before we go through James's list, we've got a Rob. He's got an interview with one of the tournament organisers.
So let's go and have a talk with Rob and Darren, one of the TOs and judges for the event today. So there you go. So there's the game. Here we're back. We're going to try that again in a few. It'll be fine. This is still during deployment. So
fine. We'll edit that. We'll edit that out later.
No one actually saw that.
No.
This isn't live. This is pre-recorded, obviously. So James from Hulls Angels and Team MMX. Just make sure I get them shout outs in there. Say hello. Hi guys. So he's using a Kraken battalion. So he has a Broodlord and a Neurothrope, and a unit of 16 Gene Stealers, and 2 units of Ripper Swarms as the minimum troops, right?
Oh my god.
Troop choices.
Yeah. So he has and then he has 9 Myotic Spores, which I believe are a 4-drilled unit.
Yes.
So
9 of them.
He's got 3 units of 3
wow.
in fast attack. So we're going to find out what they do.
I think they're just a big spore mine.
Probably.
They just float around.
But what they do is they block
like
movement, right? Yeah, they do. They are just balls floating around. So then he has a battalion detachment, and he's using the specialist detachment, Anointed Throng.
The Anointed Thong.
It makes his aberrants and stuff better in this detachment, because it's the Gene Stealer cult one. So he has the Abominant, which is the Warlord, and he has Focus of Adoration. And then another Abominant. And he has 3 units of Neophyte Hybrids, 3 units of 10. They just have like a couple of cheeky shotguns thrown in there, because why not?
So they're essentially, they're kind of his loyal 32, aren't they?
They are his loyal.
They're his guardsmen, basically.
So the Abominants are actually really good in combat, and they'll probably be doing the infiltrate, going with the Aberrants, which are like essentially, these are the equivalent of Smash Captains for Gene Stealers, and then the Aberrants are equivalent of a unit of Smash Captains for Gene Stealers, which is just great. So
not as survivable though. Not smashy, but not as survivable.
But they do half all damage coming in.
Oh, okay.
Which is good. And they have a pretty decent save, and then they ignore damage on a 5 as well. So they are actually quite tough to shift. They just don't have 3 up in them, right? So, and then we have 2 units of Aberrants, 1 unit of 6, 1 unit of 5 with improvised weapons in there, which is super good, and Hypermorph Tails. And then a unit of 15 Pure Strain Gene Stealers with 2 Cult Chimeras.
Nice.
Ready to chuck all these drops in, because then he's got 4 characters, 2 Magus and 2 Primus in there.
Wow.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our pre-recorded interview. That's not going to be happening aside. So here we go with Rob and Darren for the TO interview.
Hello, this is our microphone and it works. Welcome to the Honest Wargamer. My name is Rob and this is Darren.
How you doing, guys?
Thank you very much for doing the spot check we did earlier. We're making sure you're all watching to make sure that our microphones work.
It was just a camera test, just making sure the camera works. We're not worried about the mic, but now the mic's there, we can talk. Right?
Yeah, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. So I'm introducing Darren. Darren is a judge at the LCO and has been a judge before. I already heard this story. But what's it like being a judge at the LCO?
LCO judge is awesome. All the guys so far have been judging. It's been an awesome event so far. No real rules, queries. Everyone's got on well with each other. So it's been a good event to judge so far. It's been good.
Do you find, 40k is a complex system. Load of codexes, load of rules, loads of FAQs stacking on top of each other. Do you find that difficult to maintain and keep up with, or fine?
Do you know what? In 7th edition, I would say it was a pain in the bottom. 8th edition, not really. It's self-explanatory. It's not much there. I find it quite easy to go through, and most of the guys here find it quite easy to go through. I haven't come across any real queries they can't solve themselves, which is cool.
That seems like a positive, right?
Yeah, and 8th has been a real positive thing on the 40k side, so yeah, I'm enjoying it.
That seems excellent. So what do you play when you're not being a judge?
Good question. I try to play Gene Stealers, try to play Orcs, Khorne Demonkin. There's quite a lot of armies that I'm playing at the moment. But
so James playing with his Gene Stealer cults behind us on this top table. What do you think?
He's got a really good list out there. He mixes his up with the Gene Stealers himself, with Tyranids. Me personally, I like to go down the guard route, only because I like the flyers from Forge World. For me personally, it makes that codex work. Because Gene Stealers on themselves at the moment, the Gene Stealer cults, at the moment, don't really work very well out of the Index Codex.
Agreed.
But if you start adding the magic of other codexes, all of a sudden that codex actually starts working a lot better. So for me personally, I like the guard aspect from it. I like the idea of that the Gene Stealer cults uprising on the planet, waiting for the Tyranids to turn up, not knowing their fate that's going to be coming out. So on that aspect, I like the guard element of it.
Awesome. Well, it's been cool talking to you. Thanks very much. We can go to the game now and see whether or not... Is your prediction that James will win?
I haven't looked at both armies yet, but I'm going to put my money on James, only because I'm a Gene. My heart is towards the Gene Stealer cult, so I'm going to put my money on James on this one.
All right. Well, thanks very much. Back to the game, back to the table, and it's awesome. You should check Darren out anytime.
So here we are, back at the game. Hi, Nikos. You all right?
Hello. Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty good.
I'm enjoying these blue lights that we can see.
Yeah, blue lights,
thanks to our Sol technology.
Yeah, Sol. Are you going to call it not OSL, Objective Source Light, or Stream
it's
Light?
just Sol.
Just Sol.
Yeah, well, I thought about OSL.
But then people might get confused. We don't want that.
Exactly.
We don't want
we need to paint in Sol.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like turn 1 has started, and James is going first. So as you saw, he advanced the Gene Stealers, rolled 3 dice, picked the highest.
We did, yeah.
So the Gene Stealers are really good.
Are they the testicles going in? So hot news on the table. Apparently, James seized the initiative.
Wow, we've had 2 already out of 3 games.
He seized the initiative.
But yeah, we've got 3 testicles there.
So Colm did want to go first, but James has seized.
Wow. Okay.
It looks like maybe James is using the muckloid spores. I'm just going to call them testicles. He's using him to try and pin Colm in to his deployment zone.
Yeah, so he's got all of these grots here. This is the big lump of 21 grots. I imagine, this is a guess, but I imagine these 2 are the characters just next to the objective. So they'll all be within 6. Right? So anything that's within 6 will basically have +1 strength, +1 toughness of Urian. I imagine we'll hopefully find out from the table that the homunculus has a relic called the Vexator Mask, which is a super common choice in this list, because what that does is any unit at the start of the fight phase that's within 6 of the guy with the Vexator Mask. If you choose a unit, and that unit always fights last in that fight phase.
I think I've come across that item before.
So it's a
was
very
rather
common.
Devastating.
It is pretty good. So you basically
shut down a big unit of 30 bloodletters. I was not happy.
No. So then what they do? So they basically keep them within 6 to get the toughness and the strength and whatever, and then they go, oh, you've charged this unit here. Okay, now you're going to fight last. All my stuff is going to fight you first. It's actually horrific.
It's super strong.
A strong but very common tactic. So I'm interested to see how James is going to deal with that. And the best way you can do it is charge with multiple units.
Yeah.
And multiple of the same unit. Target saturation, right? Yeah. If you've got 2 units of 20 Gene Stealers in combat, you can only stop 1 of them. You really want 2, but you can only stop 1, right? So
it looks like James's plan is to charge in the spores. He's just trying to do as many mortal wounds as he can to the grotesques.
So the thing is about that super strong 4+ in 1. The only way you can really get through that is with
to get around into mortal wounds.
Just chuck out as many mortal wounds as you can. You might do some cheeky smites with some magus and stuff like that. But we'll see. It's only the movement phase, which is all play for.
So is he going to move his Gene Stealers for? Where can we see where the Gene Stealers are on the table?
So it looks like we've got a big.
I don't know whether.
I don't know if this is the.
It looks like they're all hiding behind the.
They might be in the cult ambush.
Oh yes.
So there's a big unit of 15 pure strain. They definitely can pull cult ambush. The other unit of Kraken won't be able to.
So he's got. I think he's moving them forward now. So he's got 1 unit of Kraken.
This is the Gene Stealer.
And some are Gene Stealer pure strain.
Pure strain, yeah. So it's unit 15. So usually what the Gene Stealer cult army's idea is, it's a really clever tactic. So the Kraken can move super fast, right? They can move twice, and if they charge, they can use a stratagem to overrun, so they move again. Yeah. Right? So what normally happens is the Gene Stealers start like here, they move and advance, and then they'll. Is there a stratagem just to move again?
I think there is. I feel like there is a double move one.
Yeah. So they'll probably try and move again, get an early charge in, so they'll fight something here. And they use a stratagem overrun, so they get to move again. So they move super fast. They're basically like Yanari Shiny Spears.
Exactly, I was about to say that's Yanari level of cheese.
Your eye was twitching, you was just so angry.
Oh man, triggering me.
So then what happens is you've got a big wall of Gene Stealers in the opponent's deployment zone turn 1, right? But what it normally does is it bubble wraps anything that's in the deployment zone still, and basically stops anything in this area shooting, because it's in combat, right?
Yeah.
However, there isn't a lot of shooting doing in this army. It is all grotesques here. This is just grotesques and racks. Yeah. All the shooting is locked up in the flyers, which are mixed up.
And you can't stop them shooting in combat, can he?
No.
You can't even assault them. He doesn't fly.
He doesn't. He just has to look at them angrily and smite them out of the sky.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure he's going to be able to deal with them apart from with smites.
This is a super tough matchup for James.
Do you reckon he should probably just ignore the planes for now?
I mean,
concentrate on the grotesque.
The thing is with the Crimson Hunters, they're a very popular choice these days. But they have 2 pulse lasers under the middle, and then they have 2 bright lancers here, which are all like the middle ones are 3 damage, 2 shots, strong fate, and these ones are D6 damage, but 1 shot each. So like, they're killing 4 Gene Stealers a turn if they do well, and James fails all his saves. I mean, the 3s to hit re-rolling 1s, because they're BS2, but they're all heavy weapons, so they're -1 to hit automatically, because they have to move. So like, realistically, killy wise, the Crimson Hunter, Crimson Hunter Exarchs aren't that good. However,
the Razor Wings are a bit better then.
the Razor Wings are better, but the thing is with the Crimson Hunters is that he has the movement with them. So they have to turn twice, as we said, like jumping around deployment zones, getting recon, getting behind enemy lines. So we will see. We will see. The Razor Wings with the poison, and they have the disintegrated cannon, so like 6 shots between them. So from all 3 of them, so that's 18 strength 5, -3, 2 damage shots. So if he does get stuff, there's a psychic power from the Tyranids that gives 5 up ignore damage. So if he does get that through, he's doing like 2 damage a time. It's really tough to keep him alive. So should be interesting.
I think so. It looks like we're in. So James has finished his movement phase. He's had a very quite defensive first turn in terms of his movement. He's kept his Geniuses back. He's just sent his spores in, and he's into the psychic phase. And I think I couldn't quite. We've got the information on the table, but I didn't quite catch the spell that he cast.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Probably a good spell, knowing James with his army.
Okay, so he's done Paroxysm, the Horror, and Mass Hypnosis. So the Horror is -1 to hit.
Yes.
I imagine that's gone on one of the Grotesque units.
More than likely, because they do hit on 3s.
And Mass Hypnosis is you're not allowed to Overwatch.
Yeah.
So the Grotesques have shooting, right?
They don't have shooting, no. They have an option of taking it, which is a really terrible Strength 3 Flamer. That's 15 points. On a 34-point model.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
No, thank you.
Not worth it.
The best option is the cheapest, of course. Just like the Talos.
So he's taken 7 mortal wounds from 1 of the unit of spores.
Wow, that is huge.
So that's just so far.
So that's like, you know, that could be nearly 2 Grotesque dead if he fails all of his power from pain.
Yeah.
So. But there you go. So British internet not working, but we're powering through. So we really do appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys at home are having a good time. We're having a good time. We're at the Last Chance Open. It's game 3. These two are both on 3 wins, so they could go into day 2, 3 wins in. You know, could win it. James is pretty good at ITC. He's pretty high in the rankings.
Yeah, so this is actually table 1. These guys are fighting out on the top table. This is
top table. We're serious now, Nicholas. It's top table. Oh my God!
We usually try and have the first day as the fun games. We've had 2 fun matchups so far, interesting armies, and we chose this one because it was an interesting matchup. The Genius of the Cults is an interesting army, and also the Drukhari and Eldar mixed one is quite an interesting one as well. But it just so happens to be the top table as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this pressure of streaming the top table, because this is very stressful. It was really fun a minute ago. Now
we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Don't worry, man.
So it looks like that's the end of the psychic phase. We're going to go into a bit of shooting. We've got some chimeras with heavy bolters, but obviously all the spore mines are gone now. Doing all those.
They've all barreled in, cause as many mortal wounds as they can.
But that's the end of.
That's the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's now going to be Drukhari turn.
Yeah.
So obviously all the spore mines are gone, so the Grotesques are free to move. But he does have this counter strike of Drukhari sat here, of Genestealers sat here.
Yeah, I imagine that James, because he's a clever player, I imagine he's made sure that these are just outside of their maximum charge distance.
Of course.
I would imagine that's the case.
That's why it's on super defensive, and that's why Colm's going to retaliate by using the flyers. So what he's going to do, I think what Colm's plan is, looking at this clever placement is, he's being super careful. He's landed it there, right? So what they can do now is shoot, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is if a lot of them survive, he also can't move through the flyers.
No.
So he's going to put the base super close. So he's using what people like to know just called move block, right? So flyers, you can't interact with them because they fly, right? You can't charge unless you have fly.
You can't go within 1 inch.
You can't underneath. You can't go underneath, sadly.
No.
It's funny.
You should be able to go underneath a plane.
I mean,
a plane doesn't fly around the big base hanging off the bottom of it, does it? Blocking your way.
But there you go. So what they're doing there, they're just measuring out this gap, because the Genestealers can't go within 1 inch of that enemy model. They have to move around. So, but they can't fit through this gap. So he's going to have to go this way and this way. So whilst we're doing this super funky movement phase, we're going to have a chat with Tom.
Yeah.
Because Tom is a superstar, and he's going to tell us about what's happening around the event. So let's.
What's going on, Tom?
Tell us what's happening, Tom.
Knowledgeise us.
Mikey, that was really good. Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. All right, so we're starting to see the opening gambits from the 8 tables below the top table that we can see on the stream at the minute. And the first one we're seeing is Mike Porter versus Brett Armitage. So this is a case of had a little bit of a disagreement of what's more valuable at this point, because Mike won the roll-off to see who's going first or second, chose to go first, but Brett declined to seize. So we're going to see how that pans out and see if that impacts the game. In the table just underneath that, we have Eric Hoger versus Tank Roberts. Tank obviously on the stream in the game before, in game 2, playing his Tau. Eric is going first, and he's going very aggressively in towards the center of the board. That's probably because the mission that we have at hand involves one objective in your home deployment zone, one objective in your opponent's deployment zone, and then one bang in the center, in addition to a deployment that kind of rewards you pushing into the center of the board, because it's kind of like a pointy, shallow deployment zone at the back. So that means that now Eric is just bombing into the center of the board, sitting on that objective, trying to take that point for himself at the end of his player turn, but also denying it from Tank as well, because it's very difficult for Tank to push straight into that middle as a Tau player. He needs to clear it first and then walk into it, so Eric can really be harvesting those points up. Next up, we have Leo Kit versus Beth Taylor. Very similar situation. Beth is playing Drakari and has elected to take the first turn, and she's probably going to be pushing straight in towards the center of there. Now, what Leo could do is risk it and push his Town Run as well, but I think he really wants to start clearing the Drakari first and then going. We're going to see if he can kick out more damage than Tank, though, to see how much pressure he can put down and see how well he can start moving towards the center of the board. Next up, we have Alex Harrison versus Alex Jones. Now, they are playing on an extremely sparse board, so this made first turn very important, especially for Alex, because if Alex doesn't get first turn, he's going to get most of his Marines removed from the board very, very quickly. He's deployed very aggressively, deployed in the center of the board, and basically hoped that he can get the first turn so that he can move up and start clearing away some of that Tau before it removes his models. Luckily for him, he did get that first turn, and he's starting to move up now and clearing away some of Alex's Tau. Afterwards, we have Tom Higginbottom versus Jay Seaburan, and now Tom is getting the first turn. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't do a similar thing to what we've already seen for the rest of the aggressive players. After that, we have Nathan Whitbread versus Kyle Thompson. Kyle was on the stream game 1 playing his Orcs. Now, Kyle originally got the first turn, but as I walked past, Nathan was able to seize, and this was very important, because you've got a very shallow deployment zone, which means it's very difficult for Nathan to screen off his Imperial Knights. As it's difficult for him to screen off his Imperial Knights, what you can end up happening is Kyle jumping across, trying to lock a couple of them down, and just keeping him pinned in a corner with a huge number of fearless Orcs, just trying to mess with him. If you can do that, then you can spend a couple of turns in the center of the board, drown him in boys, and just remove the bits that can score the objective in the center with his looters. So it's very important that Nathan was able to get that first turn and fan out a little bit so that he's at least got some control over more of the board, making it easier for him to get those points. Afterwards, we have James Grover playing his Eldari against Marcus Hinton. James is going first, and he's taken all of his Eldar tanks and just lobbed them into the center of the board. Notoriously hard to remove. They're going up. They're going to try and remove some of these Imperial Knights, but we'll have to see how much damage they end up doing. Imperial Knights take a lot of hits. Afterwards, we're going to have Tim Dagnall playing his Deathwatch against Liam Royal, and that is Deathwatch against Drakari. Tim is going first, so we're going to see if he can try and exert some pressure over that board center and then use his Deathwatch stratagems, particularly against Eldari, to try and zone off Liam's forces, because if he can get within 12 inches of that objective, if Liam wants to come and pressure it in his own turns, he's going to eat a bunch of firepower in Tim's own turn. That's pretty much it from the start, just getting the opening gambit, seeing everyone just starting to position, seeing who's getting the first turns, and then we'll see how it fans out in the later turns. Other than that, back over to you guys.
Because I've got to keep face. But here we are, back at the table.
All right.
So there we are.
Okay,
Boom.
we're back.
So there you go. Thank you very much, Tom. You're a beautiful, beautiful man. So there you go. It looks like it's still the movement phase. That gigantic lump of grots is charged at the table.
Slowly shuffling forward.
Yeah. So
with
basically,
maybe 3 legs.
maybe.
Each. Depends on how many have been added to them.
Right? So basically, because this is the first turn, in kind of like can put himself in a really good position, and then next turn they can re-roll advance and charge. So he can move up
nice.
and then re-roll his charges.
Advance and charge?
Re-roll them. You can't do both.
Oh, okay. So they can re-roll the advances or charges.
So I mean, they move 7, which is still pretty good. The Eldar, right? So why 6? Let's have 7.
Yeah.
Because,
have some unreasonable stat like 7.
Yeah. So they move 7 currently, and then when they can re-roll the charge, and get quite comfortable charging. So we've had some news from the table, from the players.
We have, yeah. So Rob's going to give us a bit of an update on how the players are doing. Yeah. He says that both are feeling quite nervous about the game.
Oh, I mean, it is game 3 of a massive event.
Yeah, they're both on the top table.
Yeah, I know James is going to the LVO, so he wants to do really well.
Yeah.
But James is like a bit worried. Basically, was it Colin that said he's a bit worried about making a mistake because he's on the telly?
Yeah, so Colin, he's a bit nervous about being on the telly, and he's obviously on the top table. He's feeling under pressure quite a lot. Yeah, the cameras are on him. Rob's standing around the table.
Yeah. Rob's just harassing him, like, what are you doing now? What are you doing?
Yeah, asking him questions.
Yeah.
So he's feeling a bit nervous. He's worried about making mistakes because he really wants to do himself proud on the telly.
James worried because it's a really tough matchup.
Yeah, he's worried about how he's going to deal with the planes. So Rob came over and let us know. He said that James was trying to use his army as bait to try and lure the grotesques forward.
Sure.
But now he's worried that he's going to get boxed in by the planes. Because like we talked about before, Colm can just put his planes right in front of James's army, and James hasn't really got the tools to deal with them, and then can't walk under a plane, apparently.
So imagine basically a brick wall there that the G-Steelers can't move through. So they're going to have to go this way, or they're going to have to go this way, which gives the grotesque a nice, happy lane right up here, because these planes will move out the way before they move.
Yeah.
So we basically need, what we're trying to say is, we need big love in the chat for the two players, because they're both under the pressure.
We did, yeah. We need lots of support for James
all the emotes,
and Colm.
all the hearts. Come on, just give them all the undying motivation they need.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Colm, he just needs to chill. He's just playing two soldiers, right?
He's got grotesques.
He's got
Drukhari. He basically can't lose.
It's pretty horrific. There you go. Here you go. The Crimson Hunters.
Here we go. He's building the box of planes.
He's building
another wall.
Oh, no.
There's a theme of today. If Rob was on, he'd make some sort of Donald Trump joke, I'm sure.
I'm just not going to say it. We're not going to do it. So we'll leave that to Rob. It's all for you. So Team MX is spooning James' 6 nights in Vegas. That sounds
nice,
fun.
nice.
So there you go.
And we heard earlier that
Colm is stressing with that Crimson Hunter. But there you go, the Razor Wing's coming in now. He's going to try and box them in to create a bit of
now there's a really long route. If James wants to get to the grotesque, there's an enormous route round. Proverbial
wall, and then he's going to go this way or this way. He's just not going to be able to do it in his turn. So it's going to be interesting where he cult ambushes. Because obviously he has units in cult ambush, which can go anywhere that more than 9 away. So if Colm might be so worried about creating this here, he might be forgetting about these gaps. That
is he going to make a mistake and let him in?
By accident. So it's up to him.
What he does have some. It looks like he's got some.
So these are the racks.
Oh, they're the racks there.
Yeah. So there you go. So maybe he's going to build an infantry wall around here, plain wall around here that are more aggressive and straight. A weird smiley face, I guess. So should be interesting. So it does look like he's building a wall with those racks in the bottom left.
So I've just heard from the table. Rob's let us know that James said this is James's. So this matchup is James's #1 worst nightmare.
Wow.
It's the one matchup he did not want.
Well, I mean, it's usually when you look at a list and you go, I really don't want to play that. You end up playing it, right? Hell Henny, welcome, dude. Thank you very much for the stalk.
Oh, thanks for following us.
Yeah, Henny's a great
Watching
guy.
from the bushes.
Yeah, he's a great
guy. So I was just thinking a minute ago, like,
sure.
Colm he's screening James out, so his ambush isn't going to be so effective. Yeah. And normally this would be just some guardsmen, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But these are racks.
These are racks.
They're way more harder to deal with.
Yeah,
you can't just pop up some las guns here and chip them away and then come in next turn.
They have a 4+ run and they ignore damage on a 6. So it's just so good.
So they're just difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Colm's entire army is hard to shift.
It is.
So it's either a plane, so you've got to have fly, or be able to take out anti-tank.
I am curious about this gap here, though.
Yeah.
This is a big gap that is left. And obviously, we don't know the measurements. We're just looking at the top down, just like you guys. So I wonder how he's going to deal with that. Because, I mean, it will have blocked off this bit with the plane. But 9 inches only goes so far, right?
That's what she said.
God damn it, Nick. I'm
sorry.
So will he be able to infiltrate with the G-Steelers here? If he could drop in,
possibly,
rolls a big hot 6 so he can move before he charges. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Really, really appreciate it. Uchu, Mohawk Miniatures, welcome, dudes. So what are you doing in the bushes today? Just watching from afar.
Wait for that gap to spring out.
We got a follow from someone with a DSLR earlier, so that was a bit weird. So there we go.
So we've got some stats. So we've got some 40kstats.com to do with this matchup.
You're going to tell me all about it.
So the G-Steeler Colts, overall in the ITC season this year, they've got a 52% win rate. And the Drukhari have a 60% win rate.
Right.
But in the heads-up matchup, so G-Steelers versus Drukhari, the G-Steeler Colts have only won 8% of those games. Wow. The Drukhari have won 92%. So James is up against it in this game.
He's against the odds.
The stats go against him.
Let's not tell him the odds, right? The stats don't like him.
Yeah, the stats are against him.
I'm confident. I'm confident in James.
James isn't. He's not confident.
This
is his worst matchup. You're supporting him. Okay.
Because he
Weirdly,
looks like he's struggling himself.
yeah. No, actually, I was going to support Colm there, but then I remembered he's actually using Eldar.
Yeah. So it's tough, right? It's tough. Who are you supporting, Nikos? Who are you supporting? Do you want to go for the Gene Stealers, even though they look like they're having a rough time, or do you want to go for the Eldar that you mortally hate?
Definitely not going for the Eldar. So I'm on James's side.
Who are you guys in the chat voting for? We're going to go for the Gene Stealers.
So Colm is into his shooting phase now. He's finished boxing out James.
Yep.
He's not getting to them grotesques anytime soon.
He's getting nowhere.
And he's shooting some stuff.
Yeah. All he needs is Gene Stealers that can fly.
So he's focusing fire on the Gene Stealers. He's recognised them, obviously, as one of James's big threats.
I'm going to block them out, and then I'm just going to kill them anyway.
Yeah. If he manages to wipe them out, he's built a box for no reason.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see during Colm's turn 2 where these flyers go, because these don't have the wings of Cain. So the Crimson Hunters can, these guys, the orange flyers, can turn twice during the movement. They can turn, move, and then turn again.
Yeah.
But the Razor Wings have put themselves in a position where they've been really aggressive to make this wall, and now they're going to end up over here and then over there. So it's going to be quite interesting how he plays with them.
Yeah. So if I was James, next turn I would be trying to focus on the Eldar, the Craft World planes.
Yes.
Because they're the ones that is going to be easiest for Colm to block him off with.
Yes, exactly. They got the better movement, right?
Yeah.
But it's so difficult because the blue planes, the Razor Wings, have better damage output against his army.
So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place here.
Yeah, I mean,
maneuverability or the damage.
Yeah, I mean the Crimson Hunters are going to be quite good at taking out these guys because these are the tanks, these are the chimeras.
I didn't even see that Chimera there.
There's two.
I didn't see that second one. Good spot.
Yeah. So we went through the list earlier, but if you want to have a look again, you can type exclamation point lists. They're very good camouflage. It's purple and black. If you want to type exclamation point lists, you'll get a link to Best Coast Pairings. So those guys have sponsored this event, which means you can look at any list for free and look at all the pairings and the rankings and the roster and all that. And if you want to look at the mission, you can type exclamation point LCO pack and you'll get a link to the rules pack. Have a look. We're playing Scenario 2, which is cut to the heart. 3 objectives with our Soul.
Yes, patented Soul technology.
Yeah, so we have
Stream
this objective which is being held by Colm. We have this objective which is being held by James, and then another one probably under a
central one somewhere.
Probably around here, somewhere there.
So they've almost finished the shooting phase, and it doesn't look like there's many Gene Stealers left.
No, so there was a line of Gene Stealers around here, like bubble wrap in this, and
I'm not sure if I was James. If I was James, so there's 11 dead so far apparently. I'm not sure if I was James. Maybe I would have just. He said it was a bad matchup. Maybe I would have just long bombed him forward, done as much damage as I could possibly.
Maybe.
Because he's just going to lose him for nothing now.
Yeah, this is the issue. But the thing is I think James has quite a lot in ambush, and I think that's going to be his linchpin, right? His first turn is just kind of bait stuff out, but it doesn't look like Colm's taking the bait, sadly, because he has blocked him out completely. So we just have to see. Yeah, as I said, terrain is.
Nudge gate.
Gene Stealers are not happy with that building. No. They just like buried underneath it, dug it out, and just knocked it over, and then politely put it back afterwards after realised that they've been a little bit unreasonable. So. Again, you can look at Best Coast Pairings if you want to see any of the rankings for any of the lists. Sadly, we can't keep on eyeing all of them. There's over 100 players. There's just under 100 players. So
they finished the shooting phase. There's only a couple of Gene Stealers left. I think 13 or so died.
Wow.
So there's only a handful left. But they're within Synapse range, so he's not going to have to spend any CP to save them. They are going to live. But where are they going to go?
This is the question.
Where are they going to go?
Secondaries are recon. And he has behind enemy lines, so maybe he can keep them over here.
Could he climb up the tower in the middle?
I mean, why not?
Why not? He could climb up and jump off.
He could hide them here. So with them being infantry, they can jump around all around the terrain. But that's the thing with Grots, like Grots and Talos, or Grotesques and Talos. I keep calling them Grots because that's what it's short.
You'll confuse our AOS viewers as well.
Yeah.
And the Orc players and Lock players.
So basically, these guys are quite large models, they're on like 40mm bases, but they're also infantry, which is quite crucial with ITC because they can move through a lot of the walls in the terrain, unlike a lot of other big hit uses. So basically, they like with ITC, if you have like an enclosed room, which is like 4 walls and a roof, you can't get in there unless you're infantry, which these guys, which are toughness 6 with 4 wounds and a 4% inv can.
They seem too good. They seem too good for me.
They are very good.
So some hot gossip on the table, Mikey.
Hot gossip. I love gossip.
So the Chimera, I think it was the central one.
This one
was killed.
It's been killed.
Exploded.
Amazing.
But then he used a CPU reroll to make sure it didn't explode.
Of course.
So it was about to explode,
tactic.
but then the engineer saved it.
Yeah. Why not? So look, I'm about to self-destruct.
And also Colm used a CPU reroll to make sure it did die as well. So they're both using CPU rerolls.
Sure.
They're fighting over this Chimera. They really want
a Chimera.
They're fighting over it. It's obviously very important to both of them.
So I think this guy's got lots of characters in. I said these Chimeras are super cheap. They're really good because James has so many characters. Because he used the Brood Brothers keyword play. So he basically just takes them and just plays with them. So there you go.
Could a Brood Lord go in a Chimera?
Brood Lord can't, but the keywords are Brood Brothers.
Okay.
So where you can take Imperial Guard units as part of the Gene Stealer Cult army. So that kind of mixed together. Have a fun, happy time. So here we are at Crazy Camp. We're looking at the Crimson Hunters. They are beautiful. They're really nice. So you can just see under there, there's some grotesques as well.
Looking disgusting.
They are hideous. Here we go. So this is the wall. Grotesque everywhere. And then
so it looks like he's made them out of AOS models. Look, they look like Cryptories, yeah.
Talos bits. Exactly the same way as mine are made. Because they are
they a bit cheaper?
a model.
Wow.
Fine cast.
How much are they Cryptories?
Cryptories are like 20 quid for 3.
Nice.
You get all the bits spare if you buy Talos.
Yeah.
So
nice.
there you go. There's some
top tip for you guys in the chat.
Tips. There you go. So yeah, it looks like that is the end of that turn, I imagine, with that being blown up. No charges. But how is James going to retaliate? It's that sort of like the wall, the blocking out. Who knows? As I said, I'm still curious about this 9 inches, Nikos.
Yeah.
Love a good 9 inches.
Depends whether, if this is 9 inches, then this area is relatively safe. If this is about 9 inches, then maybe this area is safe. But maybe he can squeeze something in here.
Maybe. Squeeze it in right where he needs it, right?
There. But then, even if he does get something there, he's hitting the grotesques or the racks. I just over on the table. They're going into turn 2. So how is James going to respond?
Oh man, I am stressed.
It's 5-1 to Colm.
Wow, that is a big score turn one. Big difference there.
And I can't see James scoring many points this turn again.
No. So.
And I reckon next turn, Colm will release the grotesques.
They will just
into the
go
mix.
on a party. So
he's keeping them hold back in a minute.
Is they trudge them out onto the battlefield with the homunculus, and then the homunculus presses a button, and they just get stim injected, and then just go crazy and start chopping things up. They just
inject them with a rage virus.
Yeah, they just go absolutely mental. It's great. So that's might what happened. All the Gene Stealers are going to go crazy first.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who knows what will happen? It's very exciting. It is very exciting.
I reckon Colm looks a little bit calm now.
It does
Colm looks a little bit calmer now.
He looks calmer.
He looks a little bit calmer now after his first turn.
That was top tier. Just like this table. This is top table at the last chance open on day 1. Yeah. So you got the Neurothrope. It's going to go for a big old advance. The Neurothrope's really good HQ unit for the Tyranids. It's got 3+ invuln, and it's got Smite, right? And it's also really cheap. It's like 70 points, which is super good.
Does it have like a -1 to hit model as well?
No. So
or is
that's
that the Malinthrope?
That's the Malinthrope, yeah. So the Neurothrope is a HQ unit. So it's like you can get units of Zone Thropes that do. They have a long range Smite. It's essentially just a HQ version of those. So. Pretty solid unit, cheap Smite, hard to shift because if you do get to it, it's a 3+ invuln. It goes, well, it has character rules, so it hides. And then, Smite for days.
So James, he's moved his unit of Kraken Gene-Stealers just round to this way.
Sure.
They were here. There was 17 of them or so. There's now only a small group of 3.
Oh, a unit of 3.
3 little fellas. What can they do?
Protecting a Neurothrope. Oh, a Neurothrope's 90 points. So he must have gone up and checked some proof. There you go. I think it's the only unit in the tuning credits that actually went up, everyone else came down. So.
Rightly so.
Doesn't make much of a difference when the Swarm Lord comes down like 60 points.
So. Taking away points from one, giving it to another.
Yeah, why not? It's great.
Do we know what's in the Chimera on James's objective?
So there's another.
There's probably. I imagine there's a character over there and some guys in.
Hybrids maybe, the neophytes, the little guards, the like messed up guardsmen that are just like chanting about some weird 4-armed emperor or whatever. We don't talk none about that. So. There's only one emperor.
So I think there's 10 neophytes in there, and there's an abominant hanging around.
So there's 10
there's
neophytes.
Some sort of counter punch if something comes near there.
Yeah, so again, abominants are super strong.
And the Magus.
And so there's a Magus up here.
Yeah.
There's an abominant up here, and a Chimera.
Yeah.
So Cole might be worried. There's another Chimera. He might have to use a CP to kill that one too.
Possibly.
I mean, he has got 9 left.
Oh,
so.
Well. He should be fine. He should be fine.
He should probably be fine. So, so I'm really curious about what James is going to bring down to the end of this movement phase, right? He's got lots to play with. There's lots and lots of sneaky measuring go through. I'm curious what he's thinking. He keeps measuring this wall out. I'm curious what's going to be happening with it. And again, so we have a crucial psychic phase. But yeah.
So we just want to take a moment to thank everyone who's watching. We just heard there's quite a lot of you watching, so big thumbs up to everyone who's watching. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for your support. We're really enjoying ourselves. We hope you guys will enjoy yourselves. This is a fantastic game of top tier Warhammer, Table 1, the LCO. We're having a great time. It's a really cool game. But yeah, just thanks again for watching, everyone.
Yeah, you're all legends. And I think the guys at the table are having a good game as well. They've been very communicative, communicative to how they're feeling. As I said, like James was saying that he was a bit worried about the matchup, and Colin was saying he was stressed about making a mistake. They're just playing fair. There's a lot of good sportsmanship. This is top table on day one. It's an important game. Yeah. This is the big decider. Whoever loses this game gets to go on a night out, right? Yeah. Who wins the game is going to be stressed all night about game 4. So, while we're finishing off that movement phase, well, as much as we love watching it, we love watching Tom's hair more.
Oh, great hair.
Did you know Tom has great hair?
Great
hair.
So
go chat to him, Nikos.
Let's just stare at his hair. Guys, no one listen to him. Just stare at his hair.
We're going to stare at his hair. So let's go over to Tom to chat about the rest of the tournament.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mikey. So I've just been around the tables again just to see what's going on. Starting with Mike Porter versus Brett Armitage. In response to Mike pushing into the centre of the board with all of his bodies, Brett has gone super aggressive. I'm guessing he doesn't think he can wait for another turn for his second squad of Shining Spears to deep strike. So what he's doing is he's taking all of his Reapers outside of his transport, and he's taking his other squad of 8 Shining Spears, and he's dropped them straight into Mike's face. So he's within 12-inch range. I don't think he'll be in range to Soul Burst simply because of the 7 inches to every single model of a unit rule. And it's really going to make it difficult for Mike to try and stick on that objective. Don't know if Brett quite has the shot / the range to be able to clear all that, but potentially he could do a lot of damage to Mike. Maybe he trades his first unit of Shining Spears, but regardless, he'll have to pull Mike off a little bit, and he'll do a lot of damage to those Cultists that are in the centre of the board. We also have Eric Hoger versus Tank Roberts. Eric's pretty much still just sat in the centre of the board, but he's just trying to make some charges. It looks very intricate, and they're really trying to get it right. He's already got his Harlequin Skyweaver bikes into the side of the Tau army, but what he's really trying to do is make sure he does the charges properly, so that's taking a little bit of time just to make sure those are done well. Leo Kip versus Beth Taylor. Leo feels a little bit uneasy at the minute because Beth has taken off a lot of things. She's taken off a couple of she's taken off a couple of piranhas, taken off a lot of fire warriors, taken off a lot of drones, but he still has his town army, and he doesn't. I think he's got a bit more firepower than he's letting on here, so he can still come back and still do a lot of damage, but still a lot of towers that he's got to be able to deal with. Alex Harrison versus Alex Jones. Alex Jones' gambit is paid off. He's pushed into the centre of the board and he's done a lot of damage to Alex. Alex is down to his last 5 drones. He's also managed to lose one of his broadsides. It was pretty much the best Alex Jones could have asked for in being able to get that first turn, pushing into the centre of the board, standing on that objective and doing a lot of damage to Alex's lines in the process. Alex is still able to come back though. He's got a lot of broadsides, still got a lot of shots, and we're going to have to see how much damage he can really do to Alex Jones' lines. And if you can do a lot of damage, it's still pretty much whether the momentum can swing towards him, because he's still got a couple of shield drones left, still got a lot of wounds on those broadsides as well, and if you can remove half those Marines, Alex Jones is going to be in some real trouble as well. Tom Higginbottom, this is Jay Sebring. What Tom Higginbottom has done is he's taken his Haywire Skyweaver bikes, lobbed them forward, taken out Jay's Crusader, and he just moved around the side by charging. and taking that thing out. What Jay is trying to do now is using his smites and his shooting attacks to try and remove the bikes, but it's still a tough task with that invulnerable save already there. Plus, Tom has 21 grotesques sat on that objective in the middle of the board, which is going to make it a really hard time for Jay to shift. He's going to take at least a few turns by removing those bikes, just buying time for Tom to stick on that objective for longer and rack up those points. We also have Nathan Whitbread versus Kyle Thompson. And something really interesting happened here. So Nathan got the first turn after seizing, killed a bunch of Kyle's Gretchen, and then Kyle then uses the jump to jump his Warboss into a little gap between a squad of infantry that Nathan had and his Castellan. Unfortunately for Kyle, he charged the Castellan got 2 hits with a Volcano Lance and disintegrated the Warboss, making it very, very hard now for really Kyle to find any threats onto Nathan. He's wrapping very, very well and he's just removing models pretty much as he wants to with all that shooting. Afterwards, we have James Grove versus Marcus Hinson. This looks like a very, very bloody game. So what's happened is James has pushed everything into the center and he's removed a Crusader. Now, that Crusader had the Kingslayer secondary objective. And what that means is now he's maxed out one of his secondaries already. However, Marcus has replied. He's already killed the Falcon. He's taken a lot of damage off one of the Wave Serpents, and he's about to charge the other one, should do some serious damage. But there's still a lot of bods on that objective for James. He's going to be taking points for at least a couple more turns yet. Finally, we have Tim Dagnall versus Liam Royal, and this game looks like absolute carnage. Tried to find out what was going on. Difficult to really understand. What ended up happening is just things are dying. Tim Dagnall's dropped a bunch of Deathwatch down into Liam's face. Hopefully it becomes a little bit more clear in the future, but for now it's pretty much just a bloodbath. Everything's dying. There's Aspect Warriors all over the board, and hopefully it becomes a bit more clear in the future. Other than that, pretty standard. Not much interesting going on at the minute, apart from all the fantastic games that we've already got going on. So back to the stream game.
So guys, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm Mikey, this is Nikos, this
Hello.
is the Last Chance Open 2019.
Yes.
So this is the biggest ITC event in the UK, in Southport, run by Dyson Decks.
Sunny Southport.
Sunny Southport in January.
Which is north of Nottingham, and it confused me.
Yes,
a hell of a lot.
it is not in the south. And it doesn't have a port.
No.
So there you go.
Just a bit of water.
Yeah, so this is game 3, top table of a nearly 100-man event. Super crucial because this is the last big event in the UK before Las Vegas Open.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Last Chance.
So last chance for ITC points.
So this is currently, we've got Gene Steel Colts versus Drakari with a little bit of Eldar sprinkled on top, and Gene Steel Colts with a little bit of Tyranid sprinkled underneath, because that's what they do.
Nice.
So
what's happened so far?
So basically, the Gene Steel Colts went first, threw loads of spore mines at all the grotesques, did loads of mortal wounds, killed like one.
Nice.
And then what Colm's response to that was, make a wall out of planes. And that's what's happening here.
Made a wall out of planes.
Yeah. So, however, it's Gene Steel the Cult,
He paid his own points for those planes, just to make sure.
He did.
Yeah.
He paid some points. Not enough, but
Not
some.
enough, some.
Essentially, James is playing Gene Stealers. Gene Stealers are super sneaky.
They are.
It might be turn 2, but they can cult ambush.
Aha.
So cult ambush is
Trickery
really,
is afoot.
It is. It's really fun. So they almost like deep strike. They arrive from reinforcements more than 9 away.
Yeah.
But they get like funky rules. They get to like, they have like a table that they roll on, and they have some really, really good results on this table, which might mean they move after they deep strike. Or they might do nothing, or they might come on later, or on the edge of the board. So, but we've had some crucial stuff happen. We've had 2 units of Aberrants, which is super good. They basically come on from the edge in infiltrate, and they've got like improvised hammers and things like rocks on sticks, but they do loads of damage, right? And they are tough to shift, right? So James brought on a first unit.
Yeah.
And he's a stratagem. A cheeky stratagem. Can't remember the name of it. However, it lets him roll multiple dice on this table. He gets to roll 3 dice and pick which one he wants. How cool is that?
Sounds super good.
It does sound
I imagine
super
Colm
good.
was very disappointed when that was going to happen.
I'm sure he was. Do you know what he did? He told him to get Vect.
Get Vect.
Get Vect. He was like, no, I don't want you to roll 3.
That's not happening. You're not using your tactics.
No.
Just going to stop that dead.
So he stopped him roll 3 dice. Don't think he rolled the 6. I think James saved the command points for that. But Colm has dropped to 5 command points now. So he does have a cheeky Vect, just kind of like
Still got one in his back pocket.
in case James tries to get a bit rude later.
Yeah.
So the Aberrants rolled a 3 on that table, he rolled, which isn't very good. Essentially, they come on later.
So they just turn up somewhere.
Just somewhere
Somewhere later.
However, Nikos, I've heard there's a second unit.
Second unit?
Yeah.
Good things come in 2s.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Yeah. So he used the Primus they came in with the aberrants,
Yeah.
which lets him re-roll the result. So he rolled a 3, sorry, re-rolled it like a boss. It wasn't a stratagem, so he couldn't get it stopped. He rolled a 5, which lets them advance after they infiltrate and then charge.
Excellent.
So
So he's got a bit of an upper hand in this game then, maybe.
Yeah. So he's got a big fat unit of aberrants just appearing here. So these are super good at killing stuff.
And it looks like there was a little. So we spotted this before we went to Tom. There was a little gap here.
Yeah.
So Com's box was good.
It was good, but not good enough.
But not good enough.
There's the leak. Now it's time for the Gene Stealers to rip it open. And he's basically got a big fat unit of aberrants here. Again, we were just saying that these guys like half damage when they take it in. They ignore damage as well. They have the damage reduction save rolls. And here we are. They're about to charge some grotesques right at the back. And I imagine the characters aren't too far behind here. So they might be here. I'm trying to look at the base sizes from the top down. They might be in the middle. But like if he can break line, cause problem here, then Colm will have to change his tactics and flip round and try and start dealing with the aberrants. So, very interesting change of turn of tides.
Yeah.
We were feeling bad for James.
Is it enough to swing it James's way? It was a bad matchup, but is this the little bit of luck that he needed?
It could be a bit
So he
of
baited out and get vexed, but he had a second one up his sleeve.
He does have a second one.
That's a pretty clever play from James, I reckon.
So,
But I just want to take this moment to shout out to all you YouTube watchers out there. I hear there's 7 of you guys out there watching on YouTube.
whole 7? Wow.
Thanks, guys.
So there you
Just
go.
hit like, subscribe. I'm pointing, I don't know why, you can't see me. But the
Because
button's
the
down
arms
there
are
at the bottom of the
waving
screen
everywhere.
somewhere.
Yeah, so there you go. Thank you very
help
much
us
for watching, guys. All of you on YouTube, all of you on Facebook, and all of you on Twitch. So this has been just an amazing day. Loads of people tuning in, loads of really good vibes. Everyone's just having a great time. Again, this is top table, and the guys are just super chill, kind of. They're not chill, but they're cool with each other.
Yeah,
right?
they're having a good time, but they're both pretty nervous because it's top table and they're on the stream.
Yeah.
So, aberrants versus the grotesques in combat. There's only a few aberrants. Look, like there's 7. Is that enough to take on some grotesques? Because they're in units
So
of
it's
7 as
6
well,
and
aren't
a
they?
Primus.
Oh, it's 6 and a Primus.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Primus let them basically they kind of like join together when they infiltrate, and then they get to re-roll the result. So
I also had some exciting news from the table. So the Gene Stealers, they also ambushed in the same turn.
okay.
But he got the result where I think he had to randomise the deployment edge that he came in from.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like the Gene Stealers have turned up in this bottom right-hand corner. So he rolled a 2 on the table, which the lower on the table, basically, the worse it is for you.
So I think that's why you choose 2 sides, and your opponent chooses which one you come on.
I might be a randomise. I think 1 is your opponent picks 2 and you randomise. And I think 2 is you pick 2 and then randomise.
Ah, okay, fair.
So at least you get to pick 2 decent ones. So I imagine James probably picked this side and this side.
Yeah, makes sense.
But he's coming in the bottom corner. So
Maybe
he's
he
got a
can kill
9-inch
some
charge.
rats. The
Yeah.
strongest troop unit in the Eldar arsenal.
Still, yeah.
Toughness 4 platoon 1.
But surely you'd think those Gene Stealers eat the racks. They've got enough attacks, right?
You'd hope so.
Toughness 4, Gene Stealers are strength 4.
Yeah, so they're winning on
With 3
4.
attacks each.
Yeah, so they're going to ignore half the damage that actually gets through, and they ignore a 1/6 of that with power from pain. So he probably will kill a lot. I don't think he's going to be able to run through all of them. There's like 10 there, so.
But if James is clever, hopefully he can get the charge. And it might be difficult though, because obviously Colm is in charge of picking which models
Casualty
die.
comes off first.
If he can wrap a model, then he's not going to take any shooting.
He's going to be laughing if he
Can
wraps
he
them
do
all.
that?
Yeah. James is super good at bubble wrapping. This is
Okay.
what his Gene Stealers are there.
Is it one of his fortes?
Yeah. There you go, Sir Ulrich. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube.
Thanks
So
to Ulrich.
it's a YouTube sub.
Always a
There you go.
YouTube subscriber,
There you
awesome.
go. That's why it's a different graphic.
Nice.
Bosh.
Original sticky, you have to download the app, yes, to view the list, but you don't need to subscribe. You just because today's event is sponsored by BCP, you can view the lists for free.
So there you go, super cool. You know, so just download the app, look at any list, look at roster, look at pairings, look where everyone's placing. I think you can even look at the points at the end of the day, so you can see like the actual rankings before game 4.
Yeah, so you can see the rankings going into game 4, and I think they usually do the draw after round 3, so overnight everyone can banter with each other, panicking out their bad matchups, give each other a bit of shit, and then plan for the next game.
Yes, indeed.
So what do you think James's plan is with these 3 Gene Stealers going around the left? Is he just saving them? Or has he got some sneaky plans for later on?
See, don't forget, one of James's secondaries is recon. So this isn't having these guys here isn't actually terrible because we have a unit in this section. If we split this into quarters, we have 2 units in this section. We've got a unit in this section. We've got a unit in this section. So maybe next turn he can jump him over here.
Okay, and get his
there you
recon.
go. Gets his recon.
Nice.
Right.
But will they survive? He's got the Crimson Hunters flying around.
Maybe. As 3 Gene Stealers might not survive, but this is a character, so he can't get targeted currently.
Oh, he's a
with a
character
3+ invuln. So that's the Dora throw.
Wow. Oh, wow.
He's got some cool smite. So he can chuck out a couple more wounds if he needs to, try and finish some stuff off. Maybe a plane gets damaged and he can kill one out. If not, you know, it's just a character. Keeps moving him far enough away. If he can get that Neurothrope to go for a jog up here, can't get targeted through
hide in the corner.
Yeah. So
it's also a bit of a distraction, I guess, for Colm, because if he's shooting them, he's not shooting other things. Maybe the other things are more important, like his hybrids in here and his Gene Stealers over here.
Yeah. So, interesting. It looks like we've got a unit of hybrids that has come out the Chimera here, with it looks like an Aberrant and a Magus. That's what I'm going to say from the colours of them. So, it's a very nice armour that James got. All purple, matches his team colours.
Nice.
They've all got like purple, like 80s sports jackets, like all the cool kids wore in every US film ever.
Nice.
So, there you go.
A little bit of team camaraderie.
Yeah, it's great.
So hearing from the table that James is doing a lot of little tiny pew-pews. Looks like he's shooting his last cannons. Some pot shots at the planes, just trying to chip a few wounds here and there.
Well, he's may as well, right?
He's even shot a needle pistol at the racks. I imagine the rack enjoyed that. Hits on 2s, wounds on 2s.
Because it's poison.
And he rolled a 1. How disappointing. I was
Straight
all
over
excited for him to kill a rack there.
Yeah. Do racks die though, Nicholas? I don't think they do.
So we read some of the narrative on the show once, and apparently that's a Drukhari thing. They intentionally go somewhere who can kill them, but then bring them back to life.
Yeah.
That's just how they get their kicks. So I imagine the rack would enjoy that.
Probably do. They just stitch
All
them
the
back
Aberrants
together.
have got in. The Aberrants have got into the
made
grotesques.
the charge into the grotesques. This should be interesting.
But is he gonna fall into Colm's trap of getting near? What's that mask called?
Mask.
The Vexator mask.
So hopefully we'll hear about if that Vexator mask is there after it happens, because we don't want anyone to forget and remind. We don't want to remind them about it.
But I've just heard from the table that it looks like Colm saw this coming, has wrapped his grotesque with the racks. Sorry.
Okay.
So he can pile into the grotesques, but he could only hit the racks.
Of course, so there is a small unit of racks. It's been strung out. This must be the big unit of 10, because we saw a couple of racks here earlier. We had a bit of a close-up. So imagine we've got 2 units of 5 down here, kind of creating the castle, or the shield, or the screen. And then we've got a big unit of 10 just along there, which is like screening out the grots and back end. So, you know, watch your back, everybody, basically.
Yeah.
Don't let them come up from behind.
There's always Aberrants sneaking around.
Don't let the filthy Xenos up the back. So maybe that's why he left this gap that we talked about earlier.
Maybe he was baiting in James all along.
He planned for it. Who knows?
He wanted this to happen.
However, racks are probably going to die now.
I'm sure Colm's okay with that, because he's just going to hit him back with his grotesques.
But are we okay with that?
Probably not, because we want James to win.
No, this is true. This is true.
Well, I do anyway.
Yeah.
Just because I'm all against the Drukhari.
Yeah. So who do you guys think is going to win? Because like I said, James does still have tricks up his sleeve. It looks like Colm is kind of dominating, but it is still early game. It's only turn 2. It's only the first half of turn 2 as well. So.
Yeah. Because James is going to take the same amount of shooting.
Close out. There you go. So it looks like you start the fight phase. Colm's spending some CPs. Something's going to happen. So something huge has happened. There's another stratagem being used.
A stratagem has been used. Okay, so apparently Gene Stealer cult strategy has been used that when the Aberrant dies, he gets to fight again.
Wow!
So imagine James has just thrown in. He's thrown in his Aberrant. He's got, I'm going to go in, do a load of damage. I'm going to kill some racks, maybe kill a grotesque. And then I'm going to use a sneaky stratagem to fight again to do some more damage when one wouldn't expect it. But guess what? Colin just said, get vect.
Oh no.
I'm not having any of that.
And it went off?
No,
The Vex went
he's
off,
vected it. He's vected it.
Crazy. So Colin's like down to 1 CP now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That must have been important then.
It is.
That must have been really important to him to vect at that point.
Yeah. Is it as I said, these guys, they do have really good staying power, the Aberrants. But like once you finally kill one, you don't get smacked by a hammer on the way out, right? So they basically would get the same rule that they like the Wolfen do. So yeah, you don't want that. So Colin being down to 1 CP after that is huge.
Yeah.
We'll see how he can retaliate.
He's just got. Does he have many one command point stratagems?
1 point. He has a couple that might be able to heal stuff for Drakari. He has like Fire and Fade, which I don't think he'll be using very much.
No, not particularly.
So not a lot.
Just
not a lot,
on the
really.
reroll. Just the reroll stratagem, really.
Cheeky reroll.
Yeah.
It's kind of handy with Drakari because of Vex. It's not an automatic pass, so you do have to roll a 2 to 6 in cost. So it doesn't go off on a 1, sadly.
Oh, okay.
But if you roll a 6, you make your opponent spend their stratagems as well, and then it doesn't go off anyway. So kind of like when you've got Vex around, you kind of do want to keep 5 CP, just in case that it doesn't go off the initial time. Makes it super expensive, but if you can stop your opponent doing their super clutch moment of the army, that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, so it can be a big swing in the game.
Yeah,
that crucial strategy. But James can play on the rest of the game knowing that he can't be vexed anymore.
No, so maybe it was his plan all along.
Maybe that was his plan. He's baiting out all the vex early on. For the rest of the game, he knows I can do my big strategies now.
Yeah,
safe.
Exactly.
So I just heard from Rob at the table that two grotesques have been taken down.
Wow.
By the Aberrants.
That means it's less than 19.
Even though they're tough a 6 with a 4 up and rubber save.
And ignore damage on a 6.
And they're also hitting the racks as well.
So the thing is, while James might be struggling to kill the grotesques, he needs to kill units at the same time, right? So it's obviously kill a unit, get a point. Kill more units, you get another point as well. So I mean, everything has really good staying power. So if you can just, even if it is the racks aren't really doing much, he's screening out. If you can kill them, hopefully kills them, it's another point. It doesn't matter, right? So we will see how he gets on.
I think James has been quite clever here. I think what he's doing is he's charged in his Aberrants on this side of the grotesque, what I'm going to call the grotesque blob in the middle.
Yeah.
There's 3 units to 7 here. He's taken out a few on this side.
Sure.
But I think he's brought in, he randomised his Gene Stealers here.
Which is a shame.
But the Aberrants have gone in this side, which means when the grotesque counter-charge round into the Aberrants, they're closer to the Gene Stealers. But it looks like he hasn't been able to charge the racks here.
No.
So Colm is just going to be able to build a little screen here to pin these in, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does with those next turn.
Move just close enough where they can't intervene in his charge phase, but can't also move as well.
Yeah. So I think James, his plan would have been perfect had he gotten the charge on these racks here.
Yeah.
So it's a real shame he didn't get that.
Yeah. So thank you in the chat. It's the Anointed Throng detachment, and it gives them the fight back when they die strategy.
Yeah.
So the Anointed Throng. What 2 words they are. So spend CP, get extra keywords, get some cool new strats from the Vigilus book, and then fight again when you die. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty decent.
So Colonel Cabbage in the chat is asking me not to hate Drakari, because apparently they were shit for 20 years.
I mean, they were pretty bad.
They had terrible models.
They had Reaver jet bikes, and they were bad.
But my hate doesn't just lie with the Drakari. I also hate all types of Eldar.
Don't forget, there is a big wedge of points here in Eldar. 170 odd points each. That's a lot of Eldar in this list.
How many points?
170. Only 170.
170?
That's a lot of points for Eldar, you know?
For one plane.
Very stressed.
Just talking about Eldar a lot stresses me out.
But there's a lot of Eldar here. There's 32% of players here is Eldar.
1/3 of the field here is Eldar.
It's just crazy. But again, a lot of them didn't get touched in chapter approved that much.
No.
Like Drakari didn't get touched at all.
10% of Drakari.
There you go. I mean, it's just crazy, right? Because in ITC you need units that can hold objectives and kill stuff, right? And the Grotesques and Talos are super popular for that. Ravagers are also a super popular option because of the fact that they get so many shots and they can make them Black Hearts get the Vex. So it's usually between Ravagers and Razor Wings. And I'm not really sure which is better. Like Ravagers have 3 Disc cannons or disintegrated cannons, and you can use them like hide at the back with an Archon to get reroll 1s to wound as well as reroll 1s to hit. But the Razor Wings have 2, but they fly, so they're -1 to hit. And you can do cheeky stuff like this, where you move block, create a wall, bosh, build a wall right where you need it.
Yeah.
Keep out the guys you don't want to get in. So it's an interesting choice. I think there's a good mixture of Razor Wings versus Ravagers, but they kind of have the same role. Again, Razor Wings in this type of mission have the movement to get like recon behind enemy lines, etc. And they also have poison as well. So you kind of sacrifice a disintegrated cannon for -1 to hit, super fast movement, and poison. So, and they're about the same points. I think the Razor Wings are cheaper than Ravagers, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I'll find out how much they actually are.
So I think we're still in the combat phase.
So the Razor Wings are 135 points, by the way.
100 how much?
135.
135. Wow, that is super cheap.
Yeah, apologise. So what's happening, Nikos?
I think we're still in James's combat phase, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe Colin striking back with a few grotesques on the aberrants. But I imagine that's getting towards the end of James's turn.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of dice rolls to do.
That is it. That was the end of his turn.
There you go. There you go. So both units
has he done enough?
I don't know. I'm worried. I'm very stressed about this is top table, game 3, day one. Day one of the last chance open. So yeah, Nikos, what do you think?
Okay, so I think Colm is thinking about his next few turns ahead.
Okay.
He's thinking, what do I need to do to... Because now he's thinking, right, all James's toys are on the board. He's ambushed from everywhere. I don't think I need to bubble wrap anymore. But Gene Stealer Coats are super sneaky. They do have a strategy where they can return a unit into ambush.
Wow.
It's 1 command point. So,
which can't get vectored anymore.
No, he can't vect that. So he can, at some point, James could return maybe the Gene Stealers or the aberrants.
Dancing around here. That's a huge circle for that. Let's try again. So you've got the Gene Stealers here that are kind of in the wrong place. We've got the aberrants here. So it should be interesting. And he also has the other aberrants, which are probably hiding somewhere, I imagine. Or they're probably somewhere later. So there we go. We've got Angry Crazy Cam, which is getting a close up. So this is a Broodlord. It's not even a Nerf throw. I apologise for lying, everybody. I'm very silly. This is a Broodlord with 3 Gene Stealers. Also, we do have the Crimson Hunters bearing down on them, which isn't good.
It's going to be interesting to see, because obviously Colmy is restricted to an extent with the movement of his planes.
Sure.
The Razor Wings, they have to just make up to 1 90-degree turn and then move minimum 20.
Yeah, so this one can maximum, its movement is kind of here, same as this one. And then, there we go, there's James, he's pretty.
And there's some water bottles for you.
Are we keeping water bottles next to the live stream table, Nikos? Is that a good idea?
I'm not sure.
So as I said, these guys have a 90-degree movement, so they can kind of go this way, whereas the Crimson Hunters can turn and then move. And
they can basically go wherever they want.
They can go wherever they like.
It looks like he's moved that Razor Wing in to try and finish the Broodlord, because he'll be finishing there closer.
So he can use the poison to deal with the Gene Stealers, and then maybe use the other guns from the Crimson Hunter, which have like high damage, low amount of shots but high damage, to deal with the actual character. So
I just heard from the table, Colm was just having a bit of a think at the start of his turn before he did any movement. He was asking a load of questions of James, which is always advised when you're playing some 40k. Don't be afraid to ask your opponent questions, what their army does, stat profiles, just before you make any key decisions. Yeah. Get as much information as you can before you might start making decisions.
You have to, right? You have to try and... The thing is like, 40k is such a brilliant game because it's so varied. There's also a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, there's so many units, so many stratagems.
Has its own special rules, and then for being in an army, they have a special rule. The unit itself has a special rule. Every gun has a special rule. So sometimes it can be hard to keep track, but you know, in an event, you need to be quite open. You need to be an open book. If someone asks you a question about your units, you need to tell them. If they say, does this have an ability to do that, you need to make sure you tell them if it does. And if it doesn't, then don't tell them later that it does, right?
Ooh, you know looks like Holmes is moving back one of his razors, he's changing his mind.
Is this Chesk? Is he allowed to do that?
He did take his fingers off the model.
He did for more than 4 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, but they're having a good time. I'm sure if James is happy with it, I'm sure it's all good.
We're all great.
Okay, so I think Tom is ready with some more updates on the tables.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this.
What's the story?
Let's tell us.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. So back onto the remaining 8 games that we've got covering over the rest of the room. We've got Mike Porter versus Brett Armitage. So what Brett's done is he's taken his Shining Spear squad and he has moved it towards the board center to try and clear as many cultists as he can from the side of Mike. Now, he has lost at least 7 of those Shining Spears in the process. He has another squad to deep strike down, but I believe he felt we need to start clearing stuff as quickly as possible, because otherwise he's going to have an issue clearing it later, and Mike's just going to rack up too many points. So he took the risk and he went for it. He's cleared quite a few cultists, but you can always try to throw his back, and he's lost 7 of those bikes at least. Probably going to have lost the 8th one by now, which means he's now in a tight spot with the amount of damage you can dish out. Even more of a tight spot, however, is the fact that what Mike was able to do was use the Dark Matter Crystal to take his unit of Zangors, jump it across to Brett's left-hand side, charge a Wave Serpent, pile in across, consolidate across, then use a stratagem to fight again, which allowed him to pile into Brett's Dark Reapers, which has locked them down. Now Brett either has to spend command points to try and shoot after coming out of combat, or he's in trouble. I don't know if Mike's managed to pincer them. I think it was a difficult look for him, because obviously he couldn't attack the Dark Reapers, and it was 3 inches to get round, but it's making him burn command points, and it's making his Dark Reapers kind of move around the board, and he's got all of these Zangors that he now needs to remove. Otherwise, they're going to get a charge onto the Dark Reapers next turn, which is going to be causing Brett massive problems. Next up, we have Eric Hoger versus Tank Roberts. Now, this was a kind of interesting game because it was can the tower remove as many models as they need to really contest that central objective. The problem that you've now had is, because Eric went first, and because of the nature of deployment where you kind of push towards the center of the board anyway, what's ended up happening is the Harlequin Skyweavers have got into the broadsides by charging through the Fire Warriors and piling into one of the squads, as has a unit of Talos, which hit the kind of front. This has caused massive issues for Tank. It means he can't declare a Kion, which allows him to re-roll all to hit rolls, but it does mean that he can't move any models for any reason. So he either leaves his broadsides in, and he Kions, which allows all his broadsides to die and then cause him massive problems down the road, and it means he can't shoot the Skyweavers nor the first unit of Talos, or he moves them out and he tries to just shoot without that Kion bonus. Now, he has elected to move his broadsides out of that combat and try and shoot without the Kion. The problem he now has is you've got 9 Talos and a unit of 6 Skyweaver jet bikes bearing down his throat, and it's going to be very, very hard for him to remove all that of the number of models he has. Just really tricky situation for him now. Going to have to see if he manages to does it, but I'm a little bit skeptical as to whether or not he'll manage that. Next up, we have Leo Kit versus Beth Taylor, and now Leo is also struggling here because what we've got is a situation where Beth has managed to make a 12-inch charge, so 11-inch on the roll, into one of Leo's drones, pile in, consolidate, and then she has hit the Taunar and caused massive problems for Leo, because now that Taunar is in combat with the Talos. The Taunar can only shoot the units it's in combat with. So it can shoot from combat, but only against the unit it's in combat with, which is causing some really big issues for Leo at the minute. So Leo's going to have to try and remove that, but then it just means he can get another unit into that Taunar. So Beth's in a really, really strong position now. It looks like she's going to probably take that game. Next up, we have Alex Harrison versus Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones came out swinging, had a really, really good turn. Took out a lot of drones, took out one of the broadsides as well. The problem that he now has is that Alex Harrison has turned around, blown away 18 of Alex Jones's Deathwatch models. He's only got 9 remaining. He does have a Crusader, and Alex has very few drones remaining, so it could be that Alex Jones does a lot of damage to Alex Harrison this turn, especially considering that he used his Nova Charge to pop his big guns rather than to try and get a 3+ invulnerable save, which means that now Alex has a little bit of window to try and shoot back. It's just gone full-on aggressive. Who can win out of war of attrition? I think it's probably going to be Alex Harrison, but we'll have to see. Maybe Alex Jones can get a big turn in here. We then have Tom Higginbottom versus Jay Sebron. So Jay was saying to me, as soon as he noticed a matchup, he knew he was in trouble, and I think he was right. He's managed to remove that unit of 6 Skyweavers, and in doing so, it saved him a little bit of time, because there's a load of stuff. The problem now is that you've got 8 more Skyweavers coming in, a unit of 6 and a unit of 2, and all the Grotesques are pushing into his face. He can't quite clear that much. He's already lost one of his knights. It's a real uphill struggle for him at this point. Following that, we have Nathan Whitbread versus Kyle Thompson. Now, Nathan has now brought on all of his commandos. He's gone for all the charges. He's now got 60 boys mobbing the shield captains of Kyle brought on his orcs, my mistake. Nathan's got his shield captains that are embroiled in the big combat. They've still got enough room to jump out, though, if Nathan really wants to have a shoot at them, because of the 14-inch move and the fly keyword. However, probably going to get punched to death first. You've also managed to get 1 unit of commandos into one of the knights, but it was only a 10-man unit, and that has lost 4 models due to Overwatch, so there's a good chance it's going to get kicked first, which is going to cause a lot of problems for Kyle. It's then a case of how quickly can Nathan remove the remaining orcs. I'm not sure how quickly he can do it, but it's because he got that seize, he's now managed to establish board pressure. And rather than being boxed in a corner underneath a tide of green bodies, he's now in the center of the board trying to push them back himself, which gives him a window to try and take those secondaries, try and take those primary points by holding the central objective. Penultimately, we have James Grover against Marcus Hinson. So it's a bit of a melee in the front, but unfortunately for James, Marcus charged his Wave Serpent, blew it up, and even with a command reroll, it still blew up, which meant that it hit his Warlock on a bike with Jinx and rolls 3 wounds, removing it from play. Luckily for James, he has got a Hemlock Wraith Fighter with a Jinx, so he's still got access to that, but he's going to need a big turn to try and remove at least another Crusader, probably the Castellan as well, just so he can keep pressure on the center of that board, because otherwise Marcus is just going to clear him off. And then finally, we've got Tim Dagnall versus Liam Royal. With that game, it looks like it's very much swinging towards Tim Dagnall. There's a bunch of Eldar in the center of the board on a big ruin, but unfortunately it's just surrounded by Deathwatch. Deathwatch everywhere. Deathwatch just shooting Eldar as much as they can. They're on all sides of that building. It's pretty incredible to see, actually, but it doesn't look good for Liam. There's flyers around, but it looks like Tim's ignoring them with his Storm Shields and his 3+ invulnerable saves. It's going pretty well for all of those games. Pretty close in some of them, less close in others, but there's still some mechanics to swim back. Let's see how it's going on the other table.
Do you see this?
Yeah, James thinks he's already lost, so he's not even really
we're back at the table.
Okay, we're back.
Welcome back to the Last Chance Open. This is the biggest ITC event in the UK before LVO.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Las Vegas Open. So this is game 3, day 1. We have James McKenzie playing GC the Colts versus Cole McCarthy.
And this is table 1.
This is table 1. He's got Drakari and Eldar, Nikos.
Pretty exciting.
How do you feel about that?
I feel excited to see the Gene Stealer cults.
Yeah.
And all the Gene Stealers, absolutely. I feel less excited about the Dark Eldar and the Craftworld Eldar. I've got to admit that.
Yeah.
So it's been an exciting game so far.
It has. We are currently in Drakari turn 2. The Gene Stealer bottom of turn 2 because the Gene Stealer Colts went first. So what we have here is a wobbly camera and a massive blob of Grotesques.
Grotesque. So he's sat on the central objective.
He certainly is. So Grotesque again, we've got Homunculus around there, we've got Urian Rakov, so the +1 strength and toughness while they're within 6 of Urian. Yeah. And also, if any unit charges the Grotesques, or is within 6 inches at the start of the charge phase, he has the Vexator Mass, which is a relic for the Dark Eldar. You choose a unit and make it fight last.
So I think Colm is going to try and use that on the Aberrants that just charged in last turn that James sent in round the back.
Yeah, this is true.
And I believe that Colm is also focusing a lot of his shooting onto the Gene Stealers that popped up in the bottom corner. So apparently 7 Gene Stealers of that unit had died, and that's pretty much half the unit.
It's crucial. It's huge.
Yeah, so...
You start with like unit 15, unit 16. These are the pure strain ones that are back here, the Gene Stealer cult ones.
And currently they're just stuck in the corner. And if he wants to... If Colm is able to run away from them, they're basically useless. So it practically forces James to use the Gene Stealer cult stratagem to remove them off the table for 1 command point and then re-ambush them. Yeah. But it's going to cost him a turn. Yeah. It's going to cost him a turn.
It slows the army down, that's the issue.
And also he could get unlucky again with them.
He could get. I don't want him to go unlucky. I want him to do really well.
Yeah.
I'm against the Grotesques.
I'm sure everyone agrees with me, right? No one wants the Drakari to win.
Yeah.
Surely everyone watching is rooting for the Gene Stealers.
Yeah. Come on, Jake.
Surely.
You can do it. You can do this. It's easy. It's easy. So it looks like the thing is that the problem is Colm has moved this flyer here. He just has loads of poison shots. That's the issue. He's just shooting down there. He's not good. Because poison's really good at killing Gene Stealers. There's loads of shots. It's also got the disintegrate cannons, which have just got good rate of fire. Not really designed for killing Gene Stealers, but you got 3 shots from each of them. Super, super good. So he's got another 2 Razor Wings up here. And he's got Crimson Hunter, Crimson Hunter, Crimson Hunter.
And last turn, all those planes were forming a little box, weren't they?
Yeah, but
they've dispersed now. They've made a bigger box.
There you go.
He's taken in the whole army inside of there.
He's just like flying around in a big old circle, just gunning them down on the way. So he basically, the thing is the flyers, whilst they can't be charged at anything that has fly, because it's still a model on a base, you can't move within an inch of it if you don't have fly. You can't move through it. So what he did, he created a wall to stop James's initial Gene Stealer line that he had here. He built a wall with planes so they couldn't get through, and then just gunned them down. He was just like, I'm going to block you from moving. Also, I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah.
So
he's like, this is plan A, build a box, but plan B, I'm going to murder you.
It's all about saturation of a priority, right? He wants to stop the Gene Stealers, so I'm going to block them first. But really, I want them dead. So I'm just going to shoot them as well.
So I think actually maybe Cole, he could have just boxed off the Gene Stealers and then shot other stuff.
Maybe
he was yeah, but I suppose he had a bit of redundancy in his plan.
The issue is he can block them for one turn, but once he spreads out like this, because this is only turn 2, so they've only moved twice, and he won't be able to block them off again. So he'd have to throw the grotesques into them, which are going up here. So yeah, interesting. Maybe he just wanted to make sure if he did whiff, at least he stopped them moving, right?
Yeah. So I'm just hearing from the table that so Colm did a bit of shooting into the Gene Stealers in the bottom left. He killed 7, but then the rest of his firepower seems to be focusing on the Aberrants, which are in the top left, I believe. So he's got 1 unit in combat, sort of centrally near his home objective.
Yeah.
But then he's got some Aberrants elsewhere on the table that he's focusing down with his shooting. Oh, so in the top left-hand corner, there's 1.5 Aberrants left. Wow. And they're one of James's biggest answers to the grotesques.
Yeah.
Once he runs out of Aberrants, what else is he going to do?
It's all about positioning then. It's all positioning game, just to try and get any points he can, just clawing at points. Because the issue is obviously Colm had a massive lead in the first turn with 5-1. It is the bottom of turn 2 now, so soon we'll be able to find out what the score is currently.
Find out what the score, but what do the chat think? So there's 1.5 Aberrants left in the top hand corner. Is it the top half left or the bottom half? Is it just some legs running around, or is it a torso crawling around?
Who knows?
What do you reckon?
So it's pretty tense again, but again, both the guys are being super cool with each other. So it's like a really stressful, really well played game. I haven't seen any major mistakes yet. So no. I've seen some camera kicking, which is a big mistake in my book.
James has done pretty well,
but they're both playing it like really well.
Just hearing Broodlord down.
Oh no!
I repeat, Broodlord is down.
Here. He's gone. They have 6 wounds in the cost.
Exactly. Well, so what's good at taking out the 6 wounds? Maybe D6 damage weapons. But you have to be pretty lucky, right?
Yeah,
he rolled a 6.
Of course he did.
He got 1 through, rolled the 6. Didn't even need a re-roll. It was just like, straight up roll the 6. That's just what happens when you're playing Eldar.
So he's got 1 Gene Stealer left. So it just looks like it's 1 Gene Stealer from the original 50.
1 Gene Stealer. Maybe he's going to be the next Broodlord.
He's rocking.
Can he take up that position?
Yeah. So it's going to be quite interesting now to see what else. It's so tough for James. As he said, he did say
James looks like he's the one sweating the most. He was up against it in this matchup.
Let's get some F's in the chat for James and his Gene Stealers.
Yeah.
F in the chat to pay respect for the lost Broodlord and 6 wounds.
Help him out, guys. He needs your support.
You can do it. You can do it. Support him. Send him the love, and that will help win. We don't choose favourites, so also send love to Colm, because that won't be fair.
So currently this game is going with the stats on 40kstats.com. In this matchup, the Gene Stealers win 8% of the time, and it looks like it's going that way so far.
Yeah, it does certainly look like it. The odds were stacked against him at the start.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, he got the first turn, and the thing is because Colm had deployed so defensively with his Grops, placed him quite far back in the deployment. What else could he do, right? So,
yeah,
it was tough.
Yeah. He said himself it was a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I think he's done pretty well. Maybe with a bit more luck with these Gene Stealers, had he not got the bad random result to get over here where he didn't want them. If he got them in here as well at the same time as the Aberrants,
that'd have been crucial. Proper hammer right on the anvil, right? So,
yeah.
But no, so we'll just have to see what he does next. I mean, he's still got 6 command points to play with. Gene Stealer Cults have a couple of cool stratagems. He's using the Anointed Throng detachment.
Yeah. Can he rescue it? So just heard from the table that this central grotesque unit, not content with this central objective, they've just decided to bomb off into these neophytes up here.
Sure. And sadly,
eat them for a bit of lunch.
Sadly, they are probably going to make a mess of the neophytes.
Most likely, because they're effectively just guardsmen.
They effectively just
but
guardsmen.
With slightly bigger skulls.
Yeah, pretty much. And the grotesque will probably go in with the flesh gauntlet. So it's 1 damage but no AP. Strength 6 if they're near Urian, with 4 attacks. But if he makes a wound roll of a 6, they do mortal wound as well. So it's just really good at clearing hordes, right?
Yeah.
So again, with the ITC rules and how it works, where you can block, you can move, infantry can move for walls fine, and grotesques are infantry, even though probably shouldn't be.
They're monstrous infantry.
Yeah, they're monstrous infantry. They need that middle level.
Yeah.
They need the middle level. They're big boys, but they're tiny boys in the middles.
Yeah.
There you go. Looks like some Overwatch happening.
I'm not sure how the guys are doing on their secondary missions.
No.
So just remind you guys again with the second. Oh, you can see it on the overlay. Thanks, John.
You can see it.
So James has got recon behind the lines.
And a roving camera. He's got a rover camera. So there you go. You've got some grotesque.
Oh, there's the Neurothrope up on that the can.
There he was. He was so sneaky. You didn't even see him. It looks like he's made the charge with the Grots. You've got a unit of racks here. And it's moving super quick. You've got the Amarants chilling with the Iraq.
Look at this. There's just a load of monsters fighting each other.
Might be one of it looks like a conversion.
So looks like he's using the Grimgas Reaper.
It does look like it.
That's pretty cool.
Khan Wraith. The old character one. There you go. Well, it's Gene Stealer Colts. That's why they're going to win, everybody.
There was a sign.
There was
they
a
were
sign
on their way.
all along. So the Grotesques are in combat with the Aberrants. And you're probably using the Vexator Mask just to try and slow them down.
So with the Vexator Mask, you can concentrate elsewhere.
Exactly.
You can't interrupt, can you?
No,
you have to fight interrupt that, can you?
No, and he doesn't even have the CP to interrupt.
Ah, yes.
But it forces him to fight last. If you got any other special rules, doesn't matter, you have to fight last. So, super strong.
It is good.
It's a free relic, Nikos.
Free?
It's a free relic.
That's insane.
It's free real estate.
Yeah, Dark Eldar didn't need the help.
Yeah, so it looks like the Grots have kind of like come round quite a big cuddling charge, as it were, into the hybrids.
Big hug.
Yeah, so like.
I heard they hugged too hard, and they end up killing people. 5
attacks each, a lot of wounds on the 6. Hitting on, it is turn 2, so they are re-rolling charges at this point, but come next battle round, they are going to be hitting on 2s, which is huge.
2s.
Yes.
I don't think they need the help. They're probably going to do well enough hitting on 3s. Thanks, Shush P, for following us there.
There you go, thank you very much, dude. It is true that...
Just to answer Fearshaw and 007's question in the chat, the Tau sadly did win the last game against the Necrons. Jane did her best, but she got a bit unlucky. She got seized on and basically lost half of her army in turn 1. And she scrapped away for the next few turns, but it just wasn't quite good enough.
I tried to be really unbiased, but it was a Hellstorm Wargaming dice that was used to seize, and he rolled the 6.
Man.
Obviously, we moved like that.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a combat phase. It looks like the Grotesques are piling in to go into the Aberrants, make them fight last. As someone pointed out, it does also deny Overwatch, so you can choose to basically charge it in. You can't Overwatch, so you can just...
Not sure the Aberrants have much to Overwatch with, apart from
they
harsh
have angry
words,
hammers,
do
they can wave at them, but otherwise it's just another ability that one free relic has, right? Super duper strong.
And it looks like the racks have also charged in, so they've ignored. So Colm has decided to ignore these Gene Stealers. He's shot them a little bit with this Razor Wing.
Yeah.
And he's decided he's done enough damage. He's killed 7. There were 7 in this little hole here, and he's just ignored them because they're probably too far away. Probably slightly too far away to cause him any trouble currently.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, well, is with the racks being here, the Gene Stealers aren't miles away.
Yeah.
So if he charges up here, now they're miles away.
Yeah.
Which is super good.
Yeah.
As we were talking about the Orcs game game 1, it's like the charge phase is just another movement phase. So just giving them another 2d6 move, pile in, consolidate. You know, it's huge, right? There's up to 18 inches you can get with a charge and a full pile in advance, so that you can just slingshot things across the board.
Thank you to Helios, who just followed us.
Welcome, dude. Welcome. How are you doing? Thank you everyone for tuning in on Twitch. You're all amazing. Thank you very much to the guys on YouTube while you're hanging out there, just seeing a subscribe over there. So thank you very much for subscribing to honest-wargamer. There's also probably a couple of guys on Facebook as well, just hanging out. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a great time. We're having a great time. Everyone's having a great time. The event's amazing. The venue's really nice. It's a cool hotel. Don't know what time it is though, because it feels like night time and party time all the time. So.
So I think in the combat here, James now he's free from the shackles of Vect. He can do what he wants with his stratagems, and he's used a stratagem which I think is from the Vigilus book for when the Aberrants die in combat, because they're going to go last, so they're likely to die. There's a load of racks, a load of grotesque in their face. So when they die, they're going to get to strike. So he's at least getting some combat out of those Aberrants.
And that's going to be super crucial, right? So they've got so much damage output. They've all basically got like Thunder Hammer equivalent type weapons. So if you can take some grots out, maybe target the Homunculus, get rid of that Vexator mask.
If he's close enough. I'm not sure Calm is going to have put him that close though.
Maybe not. Kills a couple of grotesques first though.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see what he does.
So I'm also hearing that James also spent a command point to give them reroll 1s to wound.
Wow. So they'll probably be winning on 3 reroll 1s.
Yeah.
At this point.
So he's doubling down on some stratagems there to make sure that, because what he doesn't want to do is spend command points on them to fight when they die and then just whiff his attacks. So he's used that extra other stratagem to make his attacks a bit more reliable, so he's getting good value out of the first one.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like the grotesques are fighting in. They said just get so many attacks, so many for such a cheap model in the unit. So.
Yeah, grotesques seem pretty strong.
Yeah.
I mean, how many have died so far? I think only a few have died, and that was from, although that was one unit of 6 aberrants went in and did a few. Had James been able to get more aberrants in, maybe the game could have gone James's way.
So it looks like there's still quite, so it's 3 units of 7 we started with, right?
Yep.
So 21 grotesques. There's still quite a large unit up here, and there's still quite a few down here, but this is a unit of 2. So he has done some work on that unit, and that's where the anointed thronged aberrants are. So hopefully he kills this unit, which would be super good, but it's just less board control that Con's going to have over him, which is really what he needs at this point.
Yeah. So what do you think James is going to do next? How can he respond to this turn? So it looks like he's lost the neophytes to the top.
And it looks like he's getting bubble wrapped in with the grotesques. So honestly, Nikos, I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure. James is very tricksy though.
He is.
I've seen him play. He knows his stuff he knows turners.
Yeah. And if you want to listen to a good podcast episode, Tom did an interview with James, and that's on one of our podcasts where he talks about this list and his experience in the heat.
Yeah. So which he won. So we've got a big old cup.
Yeah.
Just swing that around, you know. We're using very, very similar. They're slightly small because the heats are 1750, whereas this is 2K, this event. But also the missions are very different. So, but I think his army plays.
Oh, there we go. A bit of a taste from the players.
There you go.
See, there's some good sportsmanship going on.
There you go. They're both smiling. They're both laughing. They're having a great time. That's the main thing, right? Competitive 40K can be competitive and it can be intense, and you can really push each other to be the best possible player you could be at that moment. You could be at that moment. But everyone needs to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Number 1 rule.
Absolutely. And I believe that because they're both quite nervous, they've been sweating a lot, so they're actually refueling back on sweat.
Stay hydrated, everybody. Drink H2O.
So I don't think James has got anything left in the Chimera here, but this is. So he's got some neophytes here.
Yep.
He's got a Chimera.
Sure.
He's got a couple of aberrants here, but they're likely to die, and then he's got the Gene Stealers here.
And don't forget about the sneaky Neurothrope in the middle.
Sneaky Neurothrope here.
And a sneaky Gene Stealer.
And a Gene Stealer who's now the next Broodlord.
So we should think of a good name for him.
What,
he
the Gene Stealer?
survived against all odds.
Right, should we let the chat name this Gene Stealer? What's this Gene Stealer going to be called, chat? Let's give him a name.
He was a unit of 15, now he's a unit of boy. Yeah. Just a boy. But he's chilly. I mean,
he is the one. He is the chosen one.
There can be only one awesome Gene Stealer, and there he is. So we'll see. I mean, he has got 2 Crimson Hunters kind of like keeping an eye on him at the minute. But it's going to be James's turn next. This is going to be the bottom of turn 2. Yeah. But we're going to go into an interview with Tom to find out what's happening. Not an interview, a catch-up. What am I on about? I don't know what to talk about. Here we go. So would you like to see what's happening at Last Chance Open with Tom and his beautiful hair? Here we go.
That was brilliant, Mikey. Thank you. I appreciate that sound introduction. Absolutely fantastic. So first game going on. Thanks, Rob. Brilliant. We've got Mike Porter against Brett Armitage. So Brett did elect to spend most CP to pull his Dark Reapers out of the combat. He's also dropped down his Shining Spears and he's removed all of those angles. Now that's removed that threat for now, so it means the Dark Reapers aren't getting tagged up, but he's probably going to end up trading his Shining Spears for it, in my opinion, just because you've got the entire horde that's kind of coming around the center and it's going to start shooting those Shining Spears. He could use Lightning Fast Reflexes. I don't know if he's got a Protect Down. I don't think he has, though. And just remove those Shining Spears, or even just charge them and try and lock them up as well, which is going to make things very, very difficult for Brett. Unless you start spending vast amounts of CPs, it's probably a tough situation for him now. It's difficult to see how he can commit for a turn, clear all the horde, and then not lose all his stuff back in return. And I think that tagging of the Dark Reapers effectively forced him into a kind of negative trade where he has to force his Shining Spears down just to make sure those Zangors die, because otherwise his Reapers are getting tagged down again. But it's just a case of, because of the terrain, it was really difficult for him to get them into a good position where they're not going to get basically hit by the entire horde later on. Next up, you have Eric Hoger against Tank Roberts, and you've got a situation there where Eric is continuing Operation Tag Everything. Tank has done a lot of damage with his shooting, though. Regardless of not having Kai on, he's managed to kill 4 Talos. That still leaves 5 left, though, and that still leaves all of the Skyweaver jet bikes that are moving their way around and just trying to hit all of his broadsides. Plus, that chaff screen is running very, very thin. So now Eric has the opportunity to clear the Fire Warriors and then try and hit the broadsides directly and do quite a bit of damage. Alternatively, he can just try and hit the Fire Warriors themselves, try and sneak onto an end and really try and diminish the possibility of support fire, but I don't think he's going to do that. Tank is far too bunched up, and if he's going to charge, just try and hit him directly. Afterwards, we've got Leo Kip versus Beth Taylor, and this is what I've called Leo's last stand. Leo has left combat with his Taunar. He's then used a stratagem to allow it to operate on full ballistic skill, even though it's only got 2 wounds remaining, and it's going to just basically go for it, see how much you can remove, but I don't think it's going to remove the 7 or 8 units that you have remaining for those Drukhari that are pushing in towards his lines. You have Alex Harrison versus Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones managed to kill the remainder of Alex Harrison's chaff and the remainder of his drones. Now, that means Alex has taken a bit of a gamble. He needs to kill pretty much as much of Alex Jones' stuff as he can. If he doesn't kill all of those intercessors and he doesn't kill pretty much all of those, I don't even know what's going on over there, that's just a mess. Do a lot of damage to those Crusaders. There's some guys corpsing next to me, and it's really off-putting. Didn't kill a lot of those things, he can get hit back really hard and start to lose a lot of those broadsides, a lot of those riptides, and that firepower is getting really badly diminished. After that, it's pretty much game over for either of them once their back firepower has been broken. So if Alex Jones gets a really good turn of firing after Alex has had his way, basically if Alex Harrison doesn't kill enough, then he's gonna be in trouble. Afterwards, you've got Jay Severin versus Tom Higginbottom. Jay's pretty much boxed in the corner, lost most of his knights. It's very, very difficult to see how he can come back. There's grotesques everywhere, and I think it's just formalities for Tom Higginbottom now, but it is the nature of the matchup. It is what it is. Nathan Whitbread versus Kyle Thompson. That one is more of a close game. So even though about 60-odd boys end up charging over shield captains, those shield captains managed to live, jump out, and then kill 15 boys of Hurricane Bolter. That's done a lot of damage, and now you've got a decent points lead for Nathan and his Imperial Knights and his Imperial Soup. He is now starting to push on those orcs. Those looters aren't doing quite as much damage as Kyle would really like, because of the simple reason that Nathan has engineered it so he's getting a 3+ save on everything. He has got Iron Bulwark on one of his knights. He's got a 4+ invulnerable, the 2+ armor save, Sanctuary on one of his knights, and then he's using the Rotate Iron Shields to buff his Iron Bulwark up to a 3+, and he's also got the Raven Warlord trait for his knight, which effectively ignores AP -1. So he's got a 3+ save on all of his knights, making it very difficult for those looters to do their job. But ultimately, you have James Grover versus Marcus Hinton. This one looks like a really, really close game. Only the Castellan and Chaff left for Marcus Hinton, and only the Plains and Chaff left for James Grover. So it's going to be a case of how much damage can James do for the rest of his shooting phase. I'm not sure he's going to do enough, and then Marcus is going to turn around with his Castellan and start dishing out some damage there. So I think Marcus is probably slightly in the lead, but it depends on the points, and it depends on how the dice roll with the amount of damage dealt. Then finally, you've got Tim Dagnall versus Liam Royal, and Tim is basically diving his Death Watch onto that ruin, trying to remove all the Eldar in it. Eldrad tried to tie up one of his shield captains by charging it and trying to tank with his invulnerable save, but unfortunately ended up just dying. After that, you have 2 Venoms and a squad of 20 Guardians sat in the corner for Liam. But pretty much, Tim has full board control afterwards, and he should have a hefty points lead as well to go with it. That's pretty much what's going on in the remaining 8 tables over here. Let's see what's going on in the game on the stream.
On the stream.
So there we go, we can go on the stream. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Honest Wargamer stream. This is the Last Chance Open, the biggest ITC tournament. Game 3, Nicholas.
Game 3, and it's table 1.
Top table.
James versus Colm. So James has got Gene-Select Orcs, and Colm has Drukhari and some Craft Worlds.
Yeah.
And Colm is on top in this game currently.
He's just having a great time. So he's using grotesques.
Yeah.
Which is super good in this type of the mission. So he started with 21 Nikos.
Started with 21 grotesques, and there's how many left now?
So there's only 14 left.
14. So James has managed to kill 1 unit of 7, but it's taken quite a lot of command points to do that.
Yes, it has. So basically, Colm has a unit of racks here, and James had a unit of aberrants here, and then Colm had some grotesques here, like 2 of them. So what happened was the homunculus was here with the Vexator mass, chose the aberrants to fight last, right? But then obviously James retaliated that by using the stratagem from the Vigilance campaign book to basically every time one of his aberrants dies, he gets to fight back. So he managed to he smashed back with them. So he lost like 4 aberrants, but then they killed the grots. So which is super good. So I think
so he's killed a unit. So we're playing ITC. So each turn, if you kill a unit, you get 1 point. So he secured himself at least 1 point this round.
Yeah, exactly. So what it looks like, I believe this is 2 aberrants left in with the other unit of 7 grots. So there's a unit of grots here and here. So this one's like super miles away across the board, but this one's kind of like defending against the Gene Stealers at the back. Or the aberrants, sorry.
Yeah.
So, however, superhero, soon to be a broodlord, is still alive, everybody.
So we've got some name suggestions in the chat. So the big goldfish says we should call him Bob.
Of course, it's not a naming competition if you don't call him Bob or Jeff, right?
Bob's got to be in there. Green Ink says Harold
the Broodlord. That's got a nice ring to it. It's very,
Harold the Broodlord. It's very regal.
Yeah, there you go.
TJ
Medzi,
Jeff the Gene Stealer.
Hi TJ. It's not really called TJ, it's called Toby, but there you go. Hi Toby.
And then we've got Amstelex. He says Gene. I like that
Fantastic.
one. Gene's a
great shout. Let's roll with it.
Great shout. But then Camelot followed up with an excellent suggestion. Eugene.
Oh, did he just
another fantastic one. He one-upped
Eugene the Gene Stealer. So,
and then
Lawrence.
Naken 7709 says Lawrence.
Yeah.
Lawrence the Gene Stealer. Full Greamer, he says that Chesney the one and only.
Chesney the one and only Gene Stealer. So we're going for? What we're going for? Which one's got the highest votes? Who knows?
Well, I was happy with Gene, but then Camelot one-upped him. Eugene. I think Eugene is a fantastic name.
So he's starting his own cult. It's about surviving and not dying, the cult.
Yeah, he's got to run away and survive. Maybe there's a pipe he can go down somewhere. Maybe one of these has got a little pipe he can go down and run away.
Definitely has.
And then goes to the next table along and start another revolution.
Unless it's like Pac-Man, where he goes off the other table and ends up on this side with a razor wing.
Come out of those pipes over there.
Oh no. We do still have the Neurotho in the middle, so being able to throw smites out, there are lots of psychic powers out, super good HQ unit for Tyranids. But yeah.
So Colm's army is very largely based around the grotesques.
Sure.
He's maxed out. He's got 3 units. Is 7 the biggest unit he can have?
No, it's unit 9.
9. So he could have even more.
He could have 27.
He could have 27, but he's gone for 21 because he wanted to fit in 6 planes as well.
Yeah.
So his army is largely built around those and the plane.
Yeah.
James, he said it was a bad matchup. He's not necessarily got the tools to deal with the grotesques, but other armies, how would other armies deal with grotesques?
So the thing is with grots is because they have the forking where they're ignoring half damage that comes through, right?
Yeah.
So if you're an Eldar player, Nikos, you can cast Jinx on them, reducing their save back to a 5-0. Well, realistically, not everyone has that. So the thing is, what you need is rate of fire. You need to just throw so many dice at them just to force them to take the wounds. But the issue is after you do get some wounds through, they have the power from pain, so they ignore damage on the 6.
Yeah.
So the thing is because they have an equal number of wounds, they have 4 wounds, right? 2 damage weapons are really good.
Yeah.
So every time you get 2 wounds through, you kill one, right? However, if they do start ignoring them on a 6, getting a cheeky 6 here and there, just slows down your firepower. You've got to get another wound through before you kill one. So when you've got a good save like that, you just need rate of fire. Like D6 damage weapons are cool, might kill a grot, but you only might kill one.
So obviously you mentioned the Eldar have Jinx, which is reduced their save by 1, taking them to a 4 to a 5. Other armies have other similar things like that, like Chaos, they've got access to Death Hex, so you can cast that on a unit. I think it's an 8 to cast and it removes their invulnerable saves.
So there's like Null Zone for Space Marines.
Null Zone as well.
Just stick on a Librarian with a jump pack, he jumps in and then he goes, no more saves for you.
Or a bike.
Or a bike,
Shoot him in.
They do only have a 6 up armor save.
So you want to hear my combo, Mikey? This is my answer. This is for an Imperial soup list, okay? So
is it the list?
It's not. Well, it's a variation on the list. It's similar to one that I've been trying recently myself. So I've taken advantage of the chapter approved drops to add mech.
Sure.
So I've got the Rusty 17 in my list,
17.
but I'm not using the Rangers. I'm using the Vanguard option.
Okay.
Because they have a really cool special rule where within 6 they reduce the toughness of an enemy by 1.
Of course.
So then you could take the aberrants down to toughness 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're assuming the aberrants are toughness toughness 5. Then I have a Crusader in the list with Avenger Gatling Cannon, which is strength 6, damage 2. Yeah. So I only need 2 through to kill 1.
Sure.
So, and then if I'm reducing their toughness to 6, it's wounding on 3s, so that's pretty good. And then you could have another third attachment with a Space Marine Psyker to fly in there with a jump pack or bike.
Get rid of that invuln.
Get rid of vulnerable save. So that's my super combo.
So what you're
to get
saying
rid of
is
it.
you want to start practicing against 27 grotesques, right?
That's not what I'm saying, Mikey. Playing against 27 grotesques.
I'm pretty sure
I'd rather bash my head against a brick wall several times, personally.
But
if I was going to do that, that's how I'd try and deal with it.
That is one option, right?
But then obviously that's me having the freedom to design a list exactly to defeat grotesques. Whereas
who'd do such a thing?
Well, yeah, exactly. Maybe in a battle report, if you invite me onto your YouTube channel,
we could do that. We
do a battle report.
We can hang out at youtube.com/honest-wargamer, film some games and stuff.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun. So yeah, obviously other armies have that option as well, like Nurgle Demons have Shriveling Pox, which reduces the unit's toughness by 1.
Yeah.
But obviously they are only base toughness 5, but he has to keep the characters in range.
Okay. So you could either bait him away from the characters, or kill the characters.
Or kill the characters. He's got loads of sniper rifles. Go for it, right? Get some mortal wounds out there. It's all about mortal wounds to deal with grotesques. Ignore the save.
So Thousand Suns might be quite good against it?
Thousand Suns could do quite well against you. Loads and loads of smites from all the characters. And then even then, you could go with like a Zangor Bomb, right?
Yeah.
Use Veterans of the Long War so they get a +1 to wound. And he's got loads of attacks, forcing him. Well, he takes all the mortal wounds and the psychic, and if there's any left, make him make loads of saves.
Yeah. Yeah. So weight of dice.
Weight of dice or mortal wounds. That's the way to kill them. Yeah. Or, well, again, weight of dice. A super good anti-Drakari army is currently Death Watch. So Death Watch have they can basically
take to wound.
They can take Storm Bolters,
nice,
and then a Storm Shield. So they've got a 3-up in one. Bearing in mind they only have 1 wound, but they get like 4 shots in rapid fire. They can deep strike. They reroll hits with a Watch Master, and then they use a specialist ammunition to wound on 2s, and then a stratagem. Choose a battlefield roll, reroll wounds to 1.
Nice. So now it works on the infantry keyword, right? The special ammunition?
Yeah, so it's
anything
any sort of type of bolter, so and then anything that's not a vehicle you're shooting, yeah? So 4 shots, hitting on 3s rerolling, win on 2s rerolling. It's really good.
I wonder, I can't see Eugene anymore.
Where's
Eugene was here.
Eugene's
ran off. Has he run off to start his own colony? Or has Eugene run off somewhere? I don't know where he's gone. We don't know where he's gone.
So it looks like the Gene Stealer is dead, sadly. The one Gene Stealer, Eugene, our good man, is gone. F in the chat for Eugene, everybody. He was loved. And maybe has he died, or has he run to make a new cult? That's called the Heidi cult.
I reckon he's run away.
He's definitely run away. He's definitely not dead.
So James hasn't used the stratagem, return back to the shadows with these Gene Stealers. He's decided just to continue on, try and finish off the grotesques over here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that charge is, but it looks like maybe a 9. Maybe
9. He's got still a couple of command points to play with late in the game.
He does,
is still hiding a cheeky one in his back pocket in case he needs it.
What's he saving it for? What shenanigans?
I don't know. Who knows? So, again, it's 13-2, and James has turned 3. James obviously had the first turn. It's tough. It's really tough. There's such a lead there. He doesn't have a lot of models to play with.
13-2. Surely this is out of James's reach now, or has he got sneaky tricks to bring it back?
I think he's got sneaky tricks. He's a Gene Stealer. He's just plotting. This is all a ploy. This is getting into the politics of it.
So what you're saying is James is baiting Colm into a 13-2 lead.
Yes.
To suddenly swing it round in his favour.
Boom. He's going to get like a 30-0 win, sure.
30-0.
30-0, even though he's only got 13 points. No, so I think this is all a ploy. So this is the Gene Stealers. that are just like kind of like testing the Eldar. Like, look at these things that are a bit weird. I wonder if we can make aberrants out of those grotesques.
Possibly. Maybe that was their plan all along. They just wanted to get in touching distance to infect them with the Gene Stealer virus.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe that was the plan.
So, to be fair, the aberrants have improvised weapons.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the improvised weapons are dead grotesques.
Yeah.
Pull off a leg, whack someone with
Absolutely.
it, D6 damage, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
And the leg will be full of rancid toxins and poisons, so
party drugs.
if you're hitting someone with that.
So do you know what? Is that Eugene?
That might be Eugene. He's gone on a mission.
I think we need a close-up on Eugene the Gene Stealer.
He's gone on a mission.
He's having a great time. Look at him. We found Eugene. I'm pretty sure. I think
is
we're
he
gonna
off
get
to?
roving patrol. We've got a camera. We're going to have a look. Is that Eugene? There he is. Is Eugene actually alive, or is he just hanging out?
I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
He's definitely still alive. He has plot armor.
There you go. Eugene, there he is.
There he is, Eugene.
And he's scoring recon.
He's scoring.
Pretty much on his own. He's scoring recon.
He's feeling out of the battlefield.
This
He's
is
just
it.
having a great time.
This is the tipping point. This is where James takes the game. He's got
it.
recon, that's all he needed. That's the psychological boost that he needed.
That is a point, right? That's a point. That's a point. It doesn't matter who gets it, even if it is Eugene the boss. What a legend. So obviously recon is one of the secondaries. You can score these 4 times during the game. If you dissect the board into 4 equal, if you can draw, sections, have a unit in each corner, get a point. And there's Eugene.
There you do.
Like a boss.
Single-handedly scoring recon.
Which we thought it was the Neurothrope doing it.
Yeah.
Or then realised it was a Broodlord, and it was actually Eugene the Broodlord. We called it Nikos. We know games.
I think we should be able to. I think the chat and us should have the power to be able to upgrade James's last Gene Stealer into an actual Broodlord.
Just with 1 wound, let's be fair.
Yeah. I think he should have the full wounds.
An angry head.
I think he should have the full wounds. Yeah. All the walls. We should have the power to be able to bestow all the walls onto him.
he's saving that 1 CP, Cole, just in case he gets that D6 damage in, just to get 1.
He needs that D6 again, yeah.
It'd be great. That'd be fantastic if that happened. It looks like a grot has just died. Another grot is dead. This is a dead grot.
So we've got
this
a question
is an
in the
alive
chat.
Gene Stealer.
We've got a question in the chat saying how many of Colm's models left that aren't flyers? Can James wipe out all of Colm's non-flying units?
Okay, so I think this is the Abominant up here that's fighting the Grotesque, which is why he's losing quite a few. So it looks like he has 3 Grotesques here. He has 2 Racks there. A larger unit of Racks looks like 8 or 9. He also has a unit of 7 Grotesques around here. And that is the issue. I realise it's a man with ears and hair. There we go. So the thing is like, if it was just Racks and a couple of Grotesques, it'd be fine. But this unit of 7 is going to be the issue, I think, to clear them.
So I've just heard some exciting news on the table. So 1 aberrant has just
Abominant.
managed one
Abominant.
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 1 abominant.
The
Has just managed to
aberrant.
slay 3 grotesques single-handedly on his own.
Wow.
Now imagine if James had been able to get these into the grotesques sooner and start doing a lot more damage.
Yes, exactly. So this
could have been a totally different story.
Here. So he's the character that comes in tooth and claw. He's got like 3 heads, or 2 heads, 4 arms, and a huge hammer.
4 arms. So I'm not surprised he killed 3 if he's got 4 arms.
Exactly. Why not? What's the other hand doing?
1 hand spare.
Somebody scratching his chin, wiping his forehead off from the sweat.
I reckon he's stroking his chin because he's thinking about how he can mastermind this victory.
So as we said, could he maybe clear him off? If we deal with this blob,
so we've got the grotesque there.
There's a big unit of grotesque there. If the Abominant can make a hero charge with Eugene.
Yeah. Oh no. Keep Eugene safe. He needs to live to the end of the game.
Cult Eugene.
He needs to live to the end of the game.
He does.
So
I think he should get an extra VP if he does.
Yeah.
The tertiary.
Exactly.
So there you go. So there's only 2 grots left here now.
But this is James' turn, isn't it? The issue we've got is that Colm is going to go next, and there's no way he's not going to shoot any of his weapons.
No.
So he's going to be able to kill.
So we're looking for a whiff.
We're looking for Colm to roll a lot of 1s, a lot of 1s and 2s, or to maybe fly out of range.
I mean, if Colm decides to fly this flyer that way, off the board, like over here, James would be having a great time. He's definitely not going to do that, sadly. So what I imagine is this fly is going to pump over here, along with this one. Potentially the grots pull out of combat and go for behind enemy lines, and then these two flies shoot into this abominant. I said because it has damage, has the ignore damage. I can't remember if it has an inven or not, but they're just pretty tough to shift. But if you can get line up 4 pulse lasers, 4 bright lancers, probably going to kill it, sadly. So, but that will leave Eugene.
But if Eugene isn't the closest, because he does now have the character keyword, he might be safe because of that.
Well, the thing is if he flies his fly over here, ignores Eugene, he won't be able to target the abominant. Because
it is hard to ignore Eugene. He is pretty resplendent.
But this is, he's like, look, it's only a Gene Stealer. They know the name of him now. They both chuckled at the name. He might go, I'm going to ignore him because it's fun.
There's probably lots of wanted posters.
That could cost him the game.
Yeah.
It could cost him. It probably won't cost him the game.
If James keeps scoring recon for 3 more turns, he'll be on 5 points. And then he's only 8 behind.
He will. Exactly. Well, this is last turn. He's only just moved into recon, so he'll actually get 4 points. He'll be on 6. He'll be on 6. So, should be interesting.
Yeah. So the unit at the top, the grotesque, there's only 2 left now.
This unit here. So there's
2
9
left.
There's less than 9.
But
9
I think what Con will probably do, which isn't the most brave thing, he'll probably retreat the grotesques.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's what
just so he can shoot the Obinant, because he doesn't want to fight him again in combat. Because he's seen what devastation he can wreak. Because he's killed 3 in 1 round of combat. Imagine if he's there for another round.
Yeah, so it looks like more aberrants have gone. And I think that is the rest of the aberrants in this bottom corner dead now, which...
Yeah, James has just been removing some models there. So it looks like...
so the aberrants have gone in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
So the grots, the other unit of...
And Con looks like he's consolidating his grotesque towards the Gene Stealer.
Like 6 are left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's definitely 7 left. All 7 are there with the Urian there. So they're going to be able to deal with the Gene Stealers down here. The hybrids, the rats are probably going to go and play with the hybrids while playing with the homunculus to give them +1 strength. +1 toughness, sorry. So toughness 5 now.
Toughness 5 racks?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
You know they're 45 points for 5, Nikos? Obviously.
Well, that seems fair and appropriately costed to me.
0 or a 5 off the end of that number. So that's it. So these are wide open for shooting. These are wide open for shooting. There's still the Chimera, Hero Chimera, living his name as being a metal box up there. But 6 flyers. It's so rough. It's super rough.
Yeah, but if James can pull off some sort of miracle and clear all the ground troops, will that give an automatic win? I'm not sure. I know whether the boots on the ground rule.
Yeah, so that could basically mean you can't. So he wouldn't be able to. They basically play it out and see what points could be scored. He might be able to get like recon with the flyers, but he wouldn't be able to retaliate. So he wouldn't be able to get kill more, wouldn't be able to get home more because he's essentially table. Something that's been pointed out in the chat that we've completely missed.
Oh my god.
So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a very long day, but there's a razor wing here.
There is.
And a razor wing has to turn 90 degrees before it moves, so it can go this way or this way.
Or that way. So it's going to fly into one of the corners.
Yes. Have you seen what's in the corners, Nikos? That is a unit of 3 Ripper Swarms.
Oh my god.
And that, just off camera, is also a unit of 3 Ripper Swarms.
Wow, is this some sneaky Gene Stealer plan? So he's going to stop him landing?
Yeah, so because obviously the flyers have a minimum move, if that minimum move lands him there, it can't be placed. He'd have to go further. And if that minimum move is the same that way,
wow,
he'd have to fly off the board.
So earlier on in the game, we had some Gene Stealers who couldn't walk under the plane. Now we've got a plane who can't land on some Ripper Swarms. And it's going to decide to not stop. It's just going to fly past and then crash into the wall that exists just past the edge of the table.
Or what will happen? Here we go. We're about to find out what's going to happen.
So Gene Stealer Cult's turn has ended. It's into Colm's turn 3.
So there you go.
It looks
the
like
flyer is removed.
It has died.
It has killed it. So he
forced
off
the table.
Move. There you go. I wonder if it'll
Very
come back down like Pac-Man, like we
there.
said earlier. Do you think it'll come back? Just keep the flyer, just keep flying across.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Looking for a landing strip.
Super cheeky. So Colm bullied.
So how many points is a Ripper Swarm unit?
Oh, not many. Like 30,
something like
40.
30, 40. So he's
you know
traded
what?
80 points
I
there.
think they're 33 points, Nikos.
33
Also,
points.
they're
So
definitely
60 points.
66 points to kill a very cheap flyer.
That's pretty good trade. That's a pretty good trade there.
So double their point value there. Wow. So that's the thing, is like turn 1, Cole bullied James with move block. Super janky rules. Like because it looked like 40k looks like a 3D game. It's really 2D with interesting mechanics, right?
Yeah.
So when he built a wall of planes here, so James's G-Steelers had to go this way or this way, he's just retaliated by doing the same thing.
This is James's revenge.
This is it.
I've got some sneaky tricks
too. The linchpin, here we go. He's a gene stealer, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
That's super, it's just like crazy, because we didn't even see it. We were so focused on Eugene.
I didn't even know they turned up.
But there they
we
are.
Can't see one lot. These are like just hiding a little bit in the top corner.
We'll have to draw them back on.
And there's these here.
So there you go. So sometimes,
very clever.
Sometimes if you have something done against you, bear that in mind, you might have to retaliate later. So move block is funny, and so is forcing weird janky rules. But whilst we go into Colm's movement phase for turn 3, let's have a chat to Tom, see what's going on at the Last Chance Open and all the other tables. Tom, take it away.
That was very flamboyant, Mikey. I really appreciated that. That was excellent. Thank you. So, going back to Mike Porter versus Brett Armitage. So we were talking earlier about Brett having to trade his spears for board control and trying to clear some of those remaining screen units. Now, the issue that Brett has had here, he hasn't lost all of his spears. He's lost 5 of the squad of 8. He's also lost 6 Dark Reapers, so he's down to 9. He doesn't have that much left in firepower now, so what Mike is just doing is he's just pushing across the board, really exerting some board pressure. Not entirely sure how it looks on points, but I imagine Mike's quite far ahead as well. So alongside that board pressure, it makes it really, really difficult for Brett to come back here, I think. Eric Hoger versus Tank Roberts. Eric is still continuing his mission, trying to wrap up as many Tau units as he physically can. He's also managed to kill 3 broadsides, so he has targeted them directly, gone straight in there, removed half of the 6 that was previously there. When asked about points, though, he did respond to me with, quote, "I don't know how ITC works," which is our resident American I was very confused by, but that's fine. There's still 3 broadsides remaining, so I don't think there's quite enough to remove the 5 Talos and the Skyweaves pushing into Tank's face, so I think that Eric should close that one out, but we can see if Tank can come back. Alex Harrison versus Alex Jones. Final score was Alex Harrison 34, Alex Jones 8, and that was a table on turn 3. It was just a real shooting war of attrition. Alex did manage to kill just enough in his second turn, so that Alex really couldn't come back and deal enough damage to the remaining Riptides and the 5 broadsides. He did manage to kill one of the Riptides, but it wasn't enough to stop him from being finished off in the following turn. So Alex Harrison going into day 2 with his 3 wins. Tom Higginbottom versus Jay Sebron. The Grotesques have charged pretty much everything. There's one Honor to Dreamcaller that hasn't been charged yet, but it easily can be wrapped up by Grotesques in the next turn when Tom starts piling in. And there's a Crusader at the back, very much cowering, but isn't going to be touched by anything at the minute. However, there's also a squad of Skyweavers ready to just go in and remove that Crusader from the board. It's really, really rough for Jay at the minute. Nathan versus Kyle. So, Kyle was unable to really do any damage to those Knights, which basically meant that Nathan Whitbrand had the full capacity to just push through those Orcs. He's clearing them up now. Kyle only has under 30 bodies of Orcs remaining. He's got a big mech in there, he's got Snickrot in there, he's got a mob of 20 boys in there, and he's got like 4 or 5 looters left, so he's not got that many bodies left. It's just going to be a case of Nathan mopping up there. He'll also be going into day 2 with 3 wins. James Grove versus Marcus Harrison. Marcus Hinton has also finished. So that game has finished 22 points to James Grover, 34 points to Marcus Hinton. James couldn't quite deal with the Castellan, and he had a really bad turn of Psychic Powers, saving a CP for Seer Council and then failing Guide and failing Doom, failing most of his powers. Also, he couldn't Seer Council because he had lost his Warlock to the explosion on the Wave Serpent. Made it really, really tricky for him, but that's the way the game goes, unfortunately, I'm afraid. Looked like a really, really good game, looked like a really, really close game. Not too bad at all. Finally, we have Tim Dagnall versus Liam Royal. Now, the Death Watch are really pushing the Eldario around. They've got hold of that room that they charged into last time, but now pushing into the corner. But in points, it's actually pretty close. Tim only has 16 points to Liam's 15, so although he has a board pressure, he doesn't have a definitive lead, and most flyers are still flying around trying to kill up as many units as they can. Leo has lost to Beth. He did manage to make his last stand. He killed 4 Talos, 1 Ravager and a Raider in his last turn, but it didn't really make a difference in the end. That Town Hall went down. Leo drops down to 2-1, and Beth goes up to 3-0 going into day 2. We also had a rather interesting story coming out of Nick Cook. So Nick Cook was playing up against some kind of shooty list. He gets seized on, his castle and dies, explodes, kills a hellhound, which explodes, and the combined explosion kills a shield captain and 14 guardsmen. Pretty horrendous first turn for him, all things considered, with the siege, with the explosions, losing a huge number of models. But again, sometimes that happens, and that's why we like telling the stories about it, because it's interesting and amusing and it doesn't happen very often. Overall, lots of great games going on, lots of cool results, lots of interesting stuff going on around the hall if you're just watching around, looking at all the games. But the main attraction is still the mainstream game, I guess, so passing it back over there.
Okay guys, welcome back to the table. So we are here at the LCO on table 1. We've got James versus Colm. So I just had to make some devastating news from Rob at the table. So Colm apparently has decided that he absolutely hates Eugene and is making it his #1 priority to kill him, which has basically upset me. I'm almost in tears again. And also he absolutely hates these 2 aberrants at the top here, because they are just killing his grotesque left, right and centre. So he's also making them a target priority #1. There we go, there's James, have a little cheeky look at the camera. So Mikey, you're back at the table now. You've had just a quick water break.
Yes,
so we've had some bad news from the table. Colm has apparently decided that he wants to kill Eugene, and I think it just happened a minute ago.
No,
there's an empty space on the road
Urian's
here.
once per game gun, that is terrible.
Where is he? Where's Eugene? He's gone.
Eugene, where are you, man?
Rest in peace, my friend.
F in the chat for Eugene, everybody. He is actually dead now.
His reign as Broodlord was very short. It was only about a turn.
It was great, though.
1 turn as a Broodlord.
Do you know he scored a whole point?
Yeah.
That is more than what the rest of the
recon.
Gene Stealers did.
It was. Yeah, all the other Gene Stealers did was die. Run here and then died. But Eugene was the hero as he crept round and scored recon.
Not that they deserved, but the one they needed.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
So rest in peace, Eugene. It was nice to know you. But I think Colm now he's turned his attention to the aberrants at the top, because they've just been kicking face.
Yeah, it looks like one grotesque was alive, because the grotesque is basically left combat and charge this way. So this is a grotesque here. And now there's 2 Crimson Hunters looking there. There's a Crimson Hunter looking there. And then, yeah, probably a dead abominant, sorry.
Yeah.
But, you know, he was having too much fun. He was acting like a grotesque himself. He charged into him, got all stimmed up, got his forearms and just started punching everybody. Yeah. Chucked his hammer down, don't need that, I'll just punch them.
Maybe what happened is the grotesques ran in, beat up a load of the aberrants, but then the aberrant, grabbed one, bit some flesh off it, got some of the stims from the grotesque, supercharged himself, and that's why he's able to kill so many.
Yeah.
So he's basically he's not only a human Gene Stealer hybrid, he's now a human Gene Stealer weird Drakari grotesque thing. I don't even know what to call it.
Does that mean he gets +1 toughness?
It's like some sort of man-bear pig. Sorry?
Yeah,
he's probably got the Drakari keyword now.
He's probably
if he just wanders over here. If he just wanders over here.
Okay, +1 strength and toughness
so
in Urian. That'd be great,
How is it toughness an abhorrent? I think they say that word.
5 or 6.
5 or 6, so he might be toughness 7.
And with extra strength on his strength characteristic, doubles it with his hammer. Right, okay, GW, sort us out, right? Gene Stealer
Write
Kari.
that war scroll.
Gene Stealer Kari. That'd be great credits, right, Nikos?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just 2 units and 1 killers and abominants. So looks like the Neurothrope has died.
Oh, another Neurothrope. Another one of our heroes down.
He's been there. He's just been sat in the middle all game.
Yeah, he's been sat on. He's been trying to. I guess he's been trying to develop some sort of chameleonic skin to blend into this tower here.
Like Eugene did, because Eugene didn't die.
No, Eugene was a boss. He didn't need chameleonic skin. He was like, I'm just going to sit in this crossroad.
Yeah. Maybe he should have sent the Neurothrope over to do that job.
Possibly.
But Eugene, did it for the cause.
Yeah. So it's not looking great for James. Obviously, he's not. What's he going to have left in his 4th turn? So this is the bottom of turn 3. It's currently 13-2 to Colm, and it's currently going with the stats in this matchup. Gene Stealer Colts only win this.
Yeah, indeed. So just a couple of questions to answer. Eugene did die to the Casket Cut Flensing from Yorin Rakoff. He's once per game, strength 3, 2d6 flamer. And there is a flyer that's dead because James move blocked him.
Nice, yeah, some clever movement tactics.
He rose him a move block with a move block. So
it was one of the only ways that James was going to get rid of the flyers. He didn't have many answers to the flyers.
Nope.
He's not got much anti-tank. He's only got some smites. So he could maybe get one, but he's managed to cleverly get rid of one with some clever movement. So, Colm is going to go into day 2 with 3 wins. Will he still be on table 1 tomorrow morning?
Potentially.
Depends on the other results.
This type of army is super strong. This type of army also won Element Games Grand Slam, so which is another big event. So it's tough, you know. Lots of staying power from the Drakari. Eldar Fly is doing what we like in the air. So it's just a really good match, really good pairing. So.
Yep, always one of the other favourites. So Mike Porter's here. He's currently number 1 in the England ITC.
Yeah,
he's number 1, right?
In the world.
Second in the world.
Yeah. So Mike Porter's a great guy.
He's a big favourite.
He's a great guy. He's a really nice chat. I've played him a few times. I've known him years. I've played him 3 times. He's such a legend to play.
Does he always play Chaos, or is he like?
No.
Or is he one of those meta chasers?
So
he's always playing the good stuff.
He used to play Iron Hands.
Yeah.
With Sakarans, like a lad in 7th edition. And then he started playing Knights. But no, so he basically played in Northwest Open, which is the sister event to go with Last Chance Open, which is in the summer.
Yeah.
Last time it was 84 man, I think. And he won that with Blood Angels, a Guard Battalion, and the 3 Shield Captains and Blood Eagle jet bags. So not enough gold to build 4 Captain jet bags, only 3. So he was ready.
So today he's playing. Well, this weekend he's playing mixed chaos. He's got a Baden. He's got lots of cultists. And he's got some Thousand Suns.
2 Zangor bombs and then loads of characters. So
it's a pretty strong list. Lots of big units.
Yeah, exactly. So Arnia.
Just here from the table. The Grotesques, they've just made an epic charge into the last remaining G-Stealers on the board.
Round here.
Eugene's mates. They only needed a 1-inch charge and they rolled a 12.
Wow.
So you get the big rolls when you don't even need it. I'd just like to shout out to Arnia for subscribing on Twitch.
They're using Twitch Prime, there you go. Support the channel with Twitch Prime. You've got Amazon Prime linking together, free sub for everybody. And there you go. And the G-Stealers are gone. I don't think they bothered rolling nicely, just went, you know what, they're dead.
Yeah, he just took them off.
So, it's fair enough. And Arnia's now following us.
Stalking us as well.
There you go. So, it looks like they're having a chat. I imagine the Grotesques are going to consolidate. They can probably end up going this way if they want to stay still.
Still a thorn in Colm's side is the cheeky aberrants at the top of the table in the middle.
The Abominant.
These fellas.
Is that 2?
There's 2.
Oh my God.
The brothers. The Blues
Brothers Grimm.
The Brothers Grimm.
Yes, indeed.
They're a big thorn in Colm's side and he just can't shift them. They're too tough.
Well, there you go.
And if he's not careful, they're just going to wander over here casually, deflecting all the bullets.
They do actually deflect bullets. They reduce damage to half.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they ignore damage.
Didn't even know that rule.
I've been seeing it all game, Nickos. Come on, keep up. It's cool. It's just because they've got so many rules. Because it's all the Eldar rules. Like it's just like blocking all the.
All the Eldar rules just merge into one.
They're just rubbish compared to the Abominants. So, yeah.
So are they able to wipe out the rest of the ground troops? Because what else has Colm got on the ground? It looks like he's got some racks here.
He does have some racks.
A couple of heroes, I reckon, here. This is Yuri and Rakarth and Monculus. And then he's got some seven Grotesques though still. Yeah, so these heroes are protected by some racks. But James is going next.
Yeah, so the Abominant...
Neither of them got command points left.
No. I was about to say that the Abominant has Bestial Vigor, which when inflicting damage upon this model, reduces the damage characteristic of the attack by 1 to a minimum of 1. So it's similar to the Serpent Shields of the Eldar. Of the Base Serpent.
Sharing the technology, are they?
Also on a D6, every round you roll a 5, you ignore the wound. Also, at the start of your turn, you gain D3 wounds on that model. They are tough to shift. They are strength 6, tough to 5.
Because he keeps doing a few wounds to them, but then they keep healing up.
Yeah. So in combat, they are strength 12, -3, D6 damage, and then minimum roll of a 3 on the D6 damage. That's super good.
Nice. That is nice.
It's super good.
It's always disappointing when you've got a D6 damage weapon, you've paid a lot of points for that weapon. You get the hit, you get the wounds, you get through some invulnerable save,
you get a 1.
and you roll a 1.
Why not just shoot a bolter into him, Nikos? Couldn't do the same thing.
I paid for my last cannon, I want to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
But then with that, you got the minimum of 3, so you know you've got guaranteed 3 damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, but there
So
they
at
are.
the end of turn 3, looks like Colmer's got, I'm not sure how many, we're just calculating the points.
Doing the points, but
20. So it's 20 to 6.
20 to 6.
I do think James has done well there to get 4 points that turn.
It's a pretty good turn, right? It's a really good turn there. So
But 26.
So it's James's turn. He does have the two abominants. He has, it looks like he has something there.
I reckon that's a Magus or something.
Ah, okay, the caster, the little cloaky guy. He has a Chimera, and he has 2 Ripper Swarms. That is what's clearly
Chimera's
available.
been looking after that objective all game.
Just
parked. Maybe it's got a clamp on its wheel. It can't move anywhere.
Maybe it's got a parking ticket. Don't want to move it. So there you go. I mean, but the thing is like, jokes aside, he's been scoring. He's scored 3 points off this already. Right? About to score another one. So it's really made its points back. It's made 10% of the total score of the game available.
He's done well.
He's done really well.
Has he scored half of James's points? That
More
Chimera.
than half.
Wow.
4 out of 6. So there you go.
Wow, if it wasn't for that Chimera and Eugene, this game would be a total disaster.
That'd be a whitewash. So it looks like the Abominants have moved and they're going to go after the single grotesque. So they are probably easily going to clear it out. It's a 3 point, right? Kill a unit. You kill one model, you get that point, right? So what else can James do?
But was James able to set up any other clever movement blocks?
So
I don't think he was able to set up any more blocks for the planes to force him off the board, was he?
So it looks like there's 3 Ripper Swarms here. That's what I think is there. We could get confirmation just behind the Chimera. There's 3 Ripper Swarms. Is it just 3 Ripper Swarms behind the Chimera? We'll find out. And there's still this unit of Ripper Swarms here. So maybe you can try and move this one. So there's 3 and 3. So there's still 3 units left. Like this Crimson Hunter can go straight forward and then turn, so that's probably going to be okay. This one might struggle to land there, so he might have to go this way, which means he's forcing away from his Abominants. And then he's got the Ripper Swarm, so he won't be able to target them. So maybe using some cheeky character rule tactics, maybe scrape a few more points out of it.
Possibly,
he's going down with a fight. He's not giving up.
He's going to go.
He's got bestial vigor, as James.
Yeah, he has. He definitely has. All he needs is say 2 aberrants. He's shown that. They've been fighting some grotesques at the top and they've won the fight.
Yeah.
He just needs to get them into the fight with the other grotesques.
Eugene is in the Chimera. He is in the Chimera. He's having a great time. He's scoring all the points. He's scored all 6 points by himself. That's what we've worked out. So
he's not the new Broodlord for no reason.
No, exactly.
He's a clever Gene Stealer.
So, as I said, it's super crucial, like those Ripper Swarms being able to do what they do. They're just really good for getting command points in, 33 points a unit, and the troops, so let's take 9. Why not?
Tyranids almost have their own loyal 32, don't they?
Yeah, they're super tiny on big bases.
Yeah.
And they're really good to hide as well. So, like, when you've got all this line of sight blocking terrain, like these corners, you've got the barrels, the adamantium silos.
Yeah.
And they got these ones here. They're super easy to hide, which is crucial for getting stuff like recon, right? So you can get one in this building, you can maybe get one in this building, one hiding out here, one hiding out here. The threats that aren't going to do anything, but they're going to score James points all the time. So if you can do it while holding an objective like this Chimera is doing, like a boss, it's an extra point. It's 2 points every turn. So
what I want to know is where's James going to move his Abominants?
So where
are they going to go?
He's moved them after the grotesques. But whilst we're doing that, why don't we go and have a chat to Tom? I said it was an interview last night. It's not an interview. It's a catch-up of the event.
And we'll find out what's going on with the Abominants in the meantime.
So there we go. So let's cut to Tom. Let's go say hi.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mikey. So we've got some final results coming in from some of those games. Mike Porter versus Brett Armitage has got a final result. That is Mike Porter 33, Brett Armitage 18. So I've had a word with Brett. Matchup was fine, mission was fine, but it's just the combination of the two, because the ability that Mike has to push into the center of the board really causes Brett a problem, because he's now forced to castle just to try and protect his Reapers and protect his base units and just do a ton of damage back at them, but you've got short range. You can't really do that. You need to be able to go and pick off on foot corners. If you lob all the stuff in the center, you might kill the screen, but then you're going to get hit back by all the Psychers, hit back by the Demon Friends, hit back by Abaddon. Very, very difficult for Brett to really contest that center of the board. His castle just isn't as good at short range as Mike's. Makes it really, really difficult for him. Eric Hoger versus Tank Roberts had a final score as well. That was 37-6 to Eric. We finally worked out what ITC was. It was all right. Eric just had pretty much total board pressure throughout the entire game there. Very, very difficult for Tank to move out of his castle, and once again, it's just castle on castle action. Tank couldn't really move out. He was just constantly locked down by Talos. Maybe if he got first turn, he could do a lot of work to the Talos, but he didn't, unfortunately. And Eric managed to get into his face with a Phantasm, a move, a shoot, a charge with his Skyweavers, and really just lock that down. Followed in by the 9 Talos, caused him a real big problem. Following that, you have the final result that's coming in. Final score was Nathan Whitbread, 36, Kyle Thompson, 11. Pretty much a formality for Nathan, just clearing up the last of those orcs. Had board pressure pretty much the entire game. That siege came in huge for him, otherwise he has a big problem. But as it stands, Nathan manages to go into that game, wins it. He's now 3-0 going into day 2 as well. We have 2 games still going on. We have Tom Hutchings against Jay Seaburin. That one does look like it's going to be pretty much a win to Tom, though. Tom's had pretty much full board pressure the entire game and is just moving in for the kill. He's about to put his Skyweavers into that Crusader of Jay's, causing him a big, big problem. But as it stands, Jay's in a pretty bad spot. We then have Tim Dagnall versus Liam Royal. Now, this one looks quite close. And as we came back to it at the end of last round, it was 16-15 to Tim. It's now 23-21 to Tim after the round 4, so it's slightly widening with Tim's board pressure. I think it's going to be difficult for Liam to try and get those points he needs to catch up and then overtake Tim. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think Tim's probably going to take this game and take it to a 3-0 for him going into day 2. That's pretty much all we have for this round, on round 3 on day 1, so we'll be seeing a lot more action tomorrow, but as for the top tables, that's it for today.
So guys,
hello.
Welcome back.
Back at our faces.
There we go. You got a very nice face, Nikos.
Thank you. You do too much. You don't remember.
Thank you.
Look great.
So we've just been watching Game 3 of the Last Chance Open top table.
We have.
Yeah. And sadly, whilst the interview was kind of happening, James and Colm have decided to just talk through the end of the turns.
Yeah, they've called it. They knew the direction the game was going. It was quite obvious to us.
Eugene was going to win the game.
Yeah, Eugene was going to win on his own.
Yeah. However, he won the game, but the Jakari did score more points.
Eugene won all of our hearts.
Yeah, won our hearts.
But Colm won the game. Colm won the game.
But no, so it was really interesting, like how James had the first turn and just threw everything at him, but then super defensive with the Gene Stealers, which I thought was an interesting move. It looked like he got bullied for it. Yeah,
I think he probably realised he made a mistake after that. I think he said, so we got some information from the table from Rob. James was hoping to bait the grotesques towards him, so he could then counter-charge with the Gene Stealers.
Sure.
But that didn't really happen. He just got blocked off with the planes, which he couldn't really do much about.
Sure.
He's not got the tools to deal with the planes, which meant that big unit of Gene Stealers, which are one of his big damage dealers, were basically, they couldn't really do anything. They just went down to 3. They ran around the side to try and survive. Only Eugene made it.
Only Eugene.
But he made it to score recon later, which was probably Eugene's master plan all along.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I don't know, what units do you think swung it? Because the grotesques were really good, but they were kind of countered by the aberrants that kicked their ass really in a couple of fights.
Realistically, they've got very similar battlefield role in on the board. They've got really good staying power, really good at just killing stuff and just punching stuff. So I mean, the thing is like with the grots getting the grotesques. Keep calling them grots. They're not grots. They're not gloomspite. The grotesques. No. The grotesques being able to have the reroll charges on turn 2 and then hitting on 2s turn 3. You kind of want to wait a turn because you don't want to go for a long bomb charge because you might overstretch from your characters. So by creating the wall of flyers and then just moving his grotesque as a blob.
Big blob. So he's bought himself a bit of time.
Exactly. And it gives him a chance to keep them together, right?
So, and I suppose moving into the middle as well. That was pretty smart because obviously James was playing Gene Stealer Cults, which can ambush from any board edge.
Sure.
So maybe the middle of the board is the safe fit was, but yeah.
Because they kind of deep strike, don't they? So they ride, sometimes they ride more than 9, sometimes ride from board edge. So it's kind of like you're mitigating the bad ones for James by even more by just being in the middle away from everything.
And he screened himself pretty well with the planes, a couple of racks. He did leave a little gap at the bottom, which James wasn't able to sneak a unit of aberrants in and one of his heroes.
But you left him the speed bump of 10 racks, right?
Yeah, so maybe that was all part of the plan all along.
Exactly. So really, really, really fun game though. I mean, we were complaining about this move block. Everyone was hating, calling in the chat, the move block in turn 1. But then James did it back. with the 6 Ripper Swarms on either side of the Razor Ring, where he had to go this way, he had to go that way. Either way he went, he had to fly off the board. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think both players showcased in that game why they were playing on the top table.
Exactly.
Both got good lists. Lots of good play out there.
They know the game. They know how to abuse or exploit some things that don't work perfectly well. Well, there you go. That is 40k.
That's how it goes.
So yeah, anything else to add, Nikos?
Eugene, you're my hero. I love you.
Eugene is the best. F in the chat for Eugene. So basically, that is the end of the day for the Last Chance Open.
Yep.
However, we are going to be back tomorrow.
We're
going to have the times on the weight screen in a few minutes when we start. I think it's around 9, 10 o'clock for the first game.
9, half 9.
So we're going to be going game 4. Obviously, Colm is on 3 wins now. There's quite a few players on 3 wins out there, 98 players.
Yeah.
And the pairings are going to be going out tonight. And you'll be able to look at those on BCP. Or
Get excited for the matchups.
Yeah, so you can start looking at the list, start guessing, putting bets on your mates, see who's going to decide who's going to win. So yeah, you can look at that. I said exclamation point list. You can look at any list that's been playing today. You can look at any pairings, look at the roster and see how people will play. So.
Yeah. Okay. But before we go, we're going to go to Rob. He's got a bit of an interview with Colm.
There you go.
Hey, how are you? So I'm with the winner, Colm. Hi, Colm.
Hi. Are we calling it like that already? Yeah.
Well, I think. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's feeling quite good at the moment. James has played it really, really well. He's obviously a really good player, and his army's tricksy and not like anything else I've seen here. So fair play to him for a bit of originality. But he got a bit unlucky with his cult ambush rolls, I would say, early on, which is good for me. And I got a cheeky Vect in.
2 cheeky Vects.
A couple of cheeky Vects that were useful. So yeah, it's gone okay so far.
What's the big bit of your army you really like or you rely on?
I'll be honest, this is kind of like I played Drukhari a lot, and I was playing Talos a ton, and I kind of I played for Scotland in the ETC and stuff, and I just wanted to take something a bit different. So really, this is sort of like a silly but sort of smash facey kind of list. But like I think there's probably armies here that I do horrifically badly against, and I don't. There's armies that I do horrifically well against. I don't think James's is actually either of those, but there's a couple of big things in the game. So yeah.
Is it one of those armies that you're like a little bit uncomfortable with because it's quite rare to play against, or are you quite experienced with it?
I played against Aberrants once before, and Abhorrence, the big ones, the single, and Abhorrence, but he only had one of the Abhorrence, and he died in that game quick enough that he didn't do as much as he's done in this. But yeah, they're nasty. They're super nasty. They're horrible. I mean, that like unit just absolutely rinsed.
So like 7 grotesques?
7 grotesques in one turn. Well, that was 2 of them. We got the second one in, you know. The first turn, he kind of bounced off the 4-ups, but I didn't quite kill him, and there were enough of the guys around for him to pass the wounds off to, which is good. But I kind of need the whole unit to get in and fight it before it gets a chance to punch me. Or else it's going to hurt, apparently, a lot, really loads. Yeah.
You killed Eugene with a once-a-game ability.
That was the most beautiful moment of 40k in the world in 2019. I mean, like, it's going to take a lot of topping, you know. I feel like there were children across the world crying at the beauty of that. They don't even see it, but they know what happened somehow. It's the best thing that's ever happened in a game. Eugene's a dick. I'm glad he's dead. He's dead. Yeah. Really happy about it.
I mean, the stream table were not very happy about it. They kind of built him up as the people's champ, and then you unleash the once-a-game ability on him.
Well, that's what happens. I see him more like a sort of Nigel Farage type figure, and I'm glad he's dead. That's all I've got to say.
You devolved him.
Yeah, I devolved him. Yeah.
Are you looking forward? Are your chances good for the weekend? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think maybe take it out?
I absolutely wasn't coming here thinking that, but I mean, if you go into the last day on 3 wins, it becomes luck of matchups. I don't know what else is happening on other tables, but there's armies here I can't play at all.
Such as?
I don't want to say that just now because...
Okay.
Maybe they don't know I can't play them and they're idiots.
Just pick all the ones you know you can beat.
Whenever I lose to tomorrow, that's the only army I can't play. Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There's 32% of the armies here are Eldar.
Right.
Well, Drukhari. Well, no, or Eldari.
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, do I think they're the most broken army in the world? Is that like the implied question?
No, that's just it. They're popular. Maybe it's just a narrative.
Well, you know, the thing is, Drukhari as a standalone faction are probably not like top tier, but they're good. and Eldar obviously have been the top tier for ages. So mostly I just play Sol Drukari, like that's what I've been playing for Scotland. So it's been fun to play with some of the Eldar stuff. And yeah, I mean Ynnari is still like an army that allow you to play against anything. So I'm sure a chunk of those are Ynnari, right?
Yes,
there's one there.
Yeah,
yeah, and that makes up a chunk of it. I don't think they're necessarily the only kind of like smash every face sort of army though. What I love about 8th is that there's a diversity of armies at every event I go to. I remember going to Cali and like half of the tables had Riptides on them when the Tau book had come out, and then when the Craft World book came out, everybody had like scatter laser armies because there was like any one time, and then the Iron Star build came along, and then the Kennel Star build came along, and there was always like one unbeatable army. But like probably the best army out there is at the moment is Ynnari, but there's like what 4 or 5 armies that can trump that, if they, so.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I hope you have a great Sunday. Yeah. Thanks very much. We're going to go back to the table now and talk to the guys, and then we'll be back to talk to James and see if he enjoyed that game as much as you did. But good luck on your Sunday.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks, Emil.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks very much.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Back.
Hi Nikos.
Hello.
You all right?
I thought we were off,
No,
to be honest.
We're all on it.
But we're back.
And we're back.
So I think Rob is lining up another interview with James from the other table. But I guess we're just here to say thanks to you guys one more time. Thanks for watching on Twitch and on YouTube as well.
Legends.
And then we're going back to Rob again.
Bye-bye.
Well, I mean, those guys are great, right? Look at them. I got to say, a massive well done to our stream team. It's their first time doing it live. They've done great.
They've done all right. I couldn't hear a word they've said, but I'm sure they were great.
Yes, well, they made you up to be the hero we needed. So this is James, everyone, James McKenzie. You can listen to an entire interview with you by Tom on the podcast.
Yeah, that was a few weeks back after Heat 3.
But that was an interview on how to win.
Yeah, we didn't do so well this time. Not gone great at all.
So, you did say that this was, in your opinion, the toughest matchup you could face.
Yeah, I looked at every single list for this event, and literally this is the one I didn't want. The 6 planes can just scream me out. And then if the ambush doesn't work perfectly, which it actually went pretty disastrously, it's just a horror show for me. I've got some wonky dice at the end with the Abominants, which has made it closer than it should be. But I've scored nothing this game. I'm going to score like 10 points all game. It's not been a good show at all.
Colm, lovely guy to play, though.
Yeah, Colm's been superb. I've had a lot of fun. We've just been talking shit. Rob keeps walking over looking at us like we're mental because we're just talking absolute nonsense.
Because you play 40k.
Well, yeah, there is that.
No, I'm joking. Well, you're not playing with Eldar, which I think is brave, so I think that's great.
Oh, well, why would I?
I don't,
pointless space elves. No one likes them. No, even the Eldar players don't like Eldar.
Wow. Well, that's a big statement.
Not really. No, who's ever picked up an Eldar army gone, wow, I'm happy with this. I'm having a nice time.
So, are you looking forward to a codex drop for that army? Do you think that's really going to up the power?
I just like stratagems. I think the army's actually not in a terrible place itself. I think the problem with it is the lack of having things like fight agains, stuff like the movement shenanigans you can do with the Tyranids. I think that you can paint yourself into a corner and you don't have the ways to get out of it with an index. Whereas if I'm playing that game with the Kraken Steels instead of the Pure Snow Steels in the corner, I actually have a bunch of tricks where I can sort of escape and get away with more, whereas the Pure Snow Steels, they dropped in a bad place, failed the charge, and that was it. You may as well write them off.
Yeah, that's literally, they just got taken away. Yeah, you took it good Gracer.
Oh, it's toy soldiers. Let's not fall out about it, you know.
And finally, last question: how did you feel about Eugene dying?
I think I actually looked at the camera for that one. I was pretty sad. It was savage. I mean, why you had to do it with Urian's magic little trick? That was rude. That was unfair.
Very rude.
I mean, I did ask nicely. I said I'd run into a corner, and he said you just can't trust Eugene, which is fair. You can't trust Eugene.
No, you can't.
He is a mischievous fellow.
Well, because this is still mid-game, so we'll let you get back to the game. So thank you very much. But to everyone at home, thank you very much. Join us tomorrow on Sunday on the Honest Wargamer, where we'll be covering the match play games, the finals. Who do you think's going to win?
I think Porter's still undefeated. It's always a good shout. Other than that, I haven't really looked at who else in the top. Tank, if he won his last round, I don't know.
Don't think so.
Fair enough, that's harsh. Or Colm, because he's played brilliantly. He hasn't actually made a mistake this game. And it's a bad match for me, but he's punished me for everything I've done.
Oh, yeah, what I liked is in turn 3, he was still asking. He's like, "What's the profile on those? What's the movement?" He was still being precise every turn.
It's around the time my ambush bounced, I sort of started laughing and trying to do silly shit, and Colm has played it
as a pro throughout. He's played it really well and just played clean. And you've got to, because I've now got some wonky dice, and if he'd started messing about with me, he could have put himself in a bad position. And I got really weird dice that made it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the game, but had he started messing around, it could have become a bit tight, and there was no need for it to be.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, you've been great. Thank you very much. Obviously, John, who does all the button pushing, has been wonderful. All of the stream team commentators, and Tom's first foray into the team has been great. So if you've liked it, please share it, like it, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Definitely join us tomorrow. We find out who wins the LCO, which is going to be quite exciting.
Big event.
Very exciting, big exciting. So we'll see you soon. James, thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you very much.
And thank you to everyone, and we'll see you soon.